Chapter 2042. Su Yin carried the emperor corpse on his back and ruled the world. The three realms' heavenly river rumbled as billions of laws spread out. The emperor doused space-time, laws intertwined, and outlined the space-time emperor Dharma body. It was like a new life, so powerful that it caused the world to rumble. This was the emperor corpse. Back then, the space-time emperor was killed by the three ancestral gods of the dark world. His emperor corpse had long collapsed and would completely disintegrate at any time. However, Su Yin didn't believe that the space-time emperor was gone just like that. He threw the broken corpse of the great immortal elder into the three realms' heavenly well and used the source of the earth to nourish it endlessly. To Su Yin, no matter what price he had to pay, even if the space-time emperor really died, he wouldn't allow the space-time emperor's corpse to completely disintegrate. After all, the three realms' heavenly river had settled the source of the earth. Not only did the space-time emperor's corpse not disintegrate on its own, but its wounds were also healed. Moreover, Su Yin had obtained all of the great immortal elder's inheritance, so he could activate the power of the emperor corpse. Of course, Su Yin didn't expect that the emperor corpse and the three realms' heavenly river would form such a terrifying resonance. It emitted sorrow and sent the two emperor weapons flying. The corpse of the great immortal elder. Countless people were dumbfounded. Many people exclaimed. Some old experts' eyes were bloodshot as they roared. It was the corpse of the space-time emperor. Su Yin actually dug out his corpse from the land of death. Many people were moved to tears. It was a shocking scene. Su Yin carried the space-time emperor's corpse on his back and emitted boundless flames of anger that drowned the entire world. The young emperor and the thunder immortal elder trembled in fear. Their bodies collapsed, and the bones in their bodies broke one after another. They looked terrible. The two great success immortal kings were about to explode and turn into ashes. Su Yin stopped. At this moment, the experts of the Tenrai of Beach and the Xian people cried out in grief and indignation. These were two great success immortal kings. If their bodies were really shattered by the space-time emperor's corpse, it would be impossible to heal them. However, no matter how many experts they gathered, the emperor corpse suppressed the world. No one could get close, no one could. He's crazy. All the disciples in the cave of the immortals went crazy. What the hell was going on? Was it really like what the heavenly dragon maiden said? Did the young emperor and the thunder immortal really want to kill Su Yin and even let the Tenrai of Beach take his place? If this was really the case, it would be strange if Su Yin didn't go crazy. The main thing now was that Su Yin was carrying the great immortal elder's emperor corpse and rampaging through the world. Kneel! Su Yin's eyes widened in anger. The blood-red light in his eyes was like an ocean. The world was dark and ean. Time and space seemed to have reached the end, and time seemed to have come to an end. Heaven and earth collapsed, the sun and moon sank, and the entire imperial star rumbled. The two grand completion immortal kings were unable to control themselves. They knelt on the ground with a thump, and they trembled while howling in despair. Defeated, they had lost too miserably. They had never thought that they would lose to Su Yin in the end, lose to an emperor. No one would have thought that Su Yin would actually be able to suppress the world with the emperor corpse on his back, suppressing two grand completion immortal kings who wielded emperor weapons. Kill! Su Yin was furious. He clenched his fist and smashed it toward Thunder Immortal Elder. No! Lei Hongbao and the others cried out in fear. Su Yin had really gone crazy. He wanted to kill Thunder Immortal Elder, the third Immortal Elder of the Immortal Elder Academy. Su Yin was going all out. He was going to kill Thunder Immortal Elder and Young Emperor, even if he didn't want his life. However, no matter how violent Su Yin's fist aura was, it still couldn't completely suppress Thunder Immortal Elder. He felt a chill run down his spine. He felt as if there was a supreme being looking down on him from the beginning until the end. In truth, Su Yin had already noticed from the start of the battle that there was a colossus hibernating in the Imperial Star. After all, he had mastered the Mystic 9 escape techniques, and his detection abilities were shocking. He wasn't much inferior to an emperor. The main reason why young Emperor and Thunder Immortal Elder were so daring was because there was a monarch backing them in the dark. Otherwise, with their guts, they wouldn't have dared to go against him and suppress Heavenly Dragon Maiden. Then, it was very likely that it was one of the three giants of the Immortal Elder Academy, an invincible giant that belonged to the Tenrai of Beak's lineage. Enough! A deep voice appeared. He had finally appeared. Before he arrived, a corner of his sleeve struck over as if it came from the end of time and space. It crossed the boundless world in an instant and pressed down on this place. Everyone trembled, and their hearts were filled with fear. An emperor had made his move. What should I do? Great Immortal Elder asked me to bring Su Yin to the Imperial City. What should I do? If Su Yin dies with hatred, how am I going to explain to Great Immortal Elder in the underworld? What should I do now? Yi Linyan roared. Ever since he was suppressed, he knew the severity of losing his composure. If it wasn't for the giants overseeing Immortal Elder Academy, supporting young Emperor and Thunder Immortal Elder, they wouldn't have dared to act so recklessly. There really was a great figure behind them. He knew very well that Immortal Elder Academy's three giants didn't get along. After all, Immortal Elder Academy's status in the Immortal Realm was too high. Any decision would affect the Immortal Realm situation. That was why the three giants didn't get along. Now that the Great Immortal Elder had fallen, these unrivaled giants couldn't tolerate any sand in their eyes. That was why they weren't prepared to let Su Yin live. A corner of his sleeve was already terrifying beyond compare, covering the entire world. Even the Emperor's star darkened, as if it had entered an age of darkness. A hand reached out from his sleeve, easily covering the entire star system world that was riddled with holes. His hand shined, sprinkling down Empyrean Tao laws, causing this world that was on the verge of destruction to silently begin to heal. The great stars in the sky were reconstructed, and the ruined universe was reconstructed, turning into a complete world. All creatures were shocked. This was an emperor. Just by casually displaying his methods, he could reconstruct a ruined world, turning it into a complete world. Dong, dong, dong. Gradually, wave after wave of footsteps sounded. They sounded extremely light, but in reality, they were like endless claps of thunder, ringing in all creatures' ears. It's him. Phoenix King released a low roar. In reality, even if this person didn't appear, he still knew who it was that was plotting all of this behind the scenes. The footsteps approached from the distance, instantly becoming terrifying beyond compare. What is that? The corners of many people's lips trembled. They saw an expanse of resplendent light that was like a streak of Emperor Tao laws, as well as a streak of lightning. They could vaguely make out the silhouette of a creature within, impossible to see clearly. However, it was as if it was sleeping within, about to devour the heavens of the universe. Thunder Immortal Emperor. Many people trembled. This was one of Immortal Elder Academy's three giants, Thunder Immortal Emperor. During these tens of millions of years of time, the Immortal Realm was peaceful, not experiencing too much chaos. As a result, Immortal Elder Academy's three giants all entered seclusion, Thunder Immortal Emperor precisely one of them. Immortal Elder Academy didn't truly have the greatest authority. There were two great deans, a great Immortal Elder, three giants, a tripartite balance of power. They jointly decided on the Immortal Realm's great situation. They often had differences, and sometimes they would quarrel, their relationship not harmonious. It was to the extent where the relationship between Thunder Immortal Emperor and the Great Immortal Elder was even worse. A few people knew that in Immortal Elder Academy, Thunder Immortal Emperor advocated for retreat, while the Great Immortal Elder advocated for war. Thunder Immortal Emperor's figure was blurry, unable to be seen clearly. The entire Immortal Cave became extremely quiet, not even the specks of dust moving, as if they entered an endless state of stillness. Young Emperor and Thunder Immortal Elder didn't even dare breathe too loudly. An Emperor had come. No one could change his will. How things developed from now on would be up to him. Everything had to follow his will. Thunder Immortal Emperor is going to protect a sinner? Su Yan's voice was a bit hoarse. With the Emperor corpse on his back, he faced Thunder Immortal Emperor directly. Sinner. Thunder Immortal Emperor's voice was filled with vicissitudes. It sounded very calm, but in reality, every syllable shook the souls of tens of thousands of creatures. He said coldly, "Any sin in this world can only be decided by the Emperor. As for you, you don't have a right." Tai Baokai trembled and wanted to roar out. An emperor wanted to kill Su Yan. No wonder young Emperor and Thunder Immortal Elder were so unrestrained. His words were also very clear. Among all the laws and regulations in this world, only the Emperor was the true creator. Absolute strength represented the way of the king. You mean they didn't commit any sin? Su Yan shouted coldly. They stole my good fortune, wanted to kill my true body, and even wanted to refine the great immortal elder's legacy. To fight for the great immortal elder's remains. Emperors can ignore all of this, can they not care about it? Space-time Emperor has already fallen. Thunder Immortal Emperor sighed, affecting the heaven and earth. His figure faintly became clearer, and he said coldly, "He died because of you. The one who is guilty is you, and not others." Heaven and earth trembled, and the entire world resonated. This was very terrifying. It was as if an emperor was reading out a supreme decree, pronouncing Su Yan's crimes. This was also a will that couldn't be defied. In this world, who would dare to stand out and say another word? Many people roared. Now, it was Su Yan's turn to be guilty. This was just finding an excuse to suppress him. You are silent, which means that you have admitted it. Thunder Immortal Emperor sighed. The great immortal elder died because he saved you. If you were honest, would the great immortal elder still die? You don't even belong to the celestial world, but you caused the death of one of the pillars of the celestial world. The one who should be guilty is you. Su Yan laughed loudly. The world is so big. Where can I go? It seems like the celestial world can't accommodate me. You can leave, but leave behind the Emperor corpse and the three worlds. Thunder Immortal Emperor's voice was calm, but it contained unquestionable authority. He said coldly, "These are the things of the celestial world. What if I say no?" Su Yan glanced at Thunder Immortal Emperor. No? Thunder Immortal Emperor's aura faintly became terrifying. The entire sky was filled with Emperor's might. "This is my master's corpse. What's wrong with it?" Su Yan roared angrily, "Don't go too far. My fortune has already been taken away by the Tenraya Beach. What else do you want? Will you only stop if I, Su Yan, leave my life behind?" Impudent. Thunder Immortal Emperor was furious. His emperor's might was vast and mighty. It was as if the complete world that had just been reconstructed was about to explode. The three worlds that were protecting Su Yan were trembling as if they were about to be completely separated. Young Emperor laughed. Who did Su Yan think he was facing? This was an emperor, an invincible giant. He was also one of the three giants of Immortal Academy, Thunder Immortal Emperor. Who dared to go against him? His will had to be obeyed. His will was also supreme. Can you do it? Thunder Immortal Emperor asked. The aura that leaked out from his pores was enough to shake the world. The space-time emperor had already died. A mere emperor's corpse couldn't affect Thunder Immortal Emperor. This was an extremely terrifying might, an irresistible emperor's might. Su Yan's body was about to explode and completely shatter. Nothing would be left behind. He roared, "What a mortal king! What taboo! Only by becoming an emperor would one be supreme." Even the emperor's corpse on Su Yan's back was trembling. This emperor's corpse couldn't control itself and was about to split apart. In the end, I, Su Yan, am so laughable that I can't even protect the space-time emperor's corpse. Su Yan's eyes were wide open and emitted incomparably bitter anger. Moreover, his body was also trembling as if he was really going to collapse. He clenched his fists tightly. He deeply experienced the terror of an emperor. His trump card was useless. Otherwise, everything would cease to exist. Young man, you have such a strong will. Previously, I didn't kill you because I gave you a chance. I gave you a way out. You must know when to advance and when to retreat. Thunder Immortal Emperor spoke again. Once he killed Su Yin, the impact will be too great. At the same time, he couldn't bear to kill him. He hoped that Su Yin could serve the immortal world. The emperor looked down at Su Yin from high above. Even if he gave him a way out, it was still a supreme look. Boom! The pressure was even more tyrannical. The emperor's corpse was really about to split apart. However, Su Yin suddenly realized that the eyes of the space-time emperor's corpse on his back were faintly opening. This made Su Yin feel that it was unbelievable. Could it be that the space-time emperor was still alive? He could clearly feel that the emperor's corpse on his back was moving. It seemed like it was about to climb up and ascend to the top of the world again. The space-time emperor is still alive. Su Yin couldn't wait to roar towards the sky. He wanted to announce to the world that he was still alive. Chapter 2043. Thunder Immortal Emperor, please show mercy. A large number of experts from the Immortal Cave knelt on the ground and begged. Once Su Yin died here, it would be a heavy blow to the entire immortal world. Once Su Yin is killed, the impact will be too great. Thunder Immortal Emperor, please reconsider. There were also some old immortals who forcefully stood up and spoke. After all, Su Yin was the only disciple left behind by the space-time emperor. He was a disciple who had made great contributions. Some people could not just watch as Su Yin died here. Su Yin, lower your head and admit defeat to the Thunder Immortal Emperor. I believe the Thunder Immortal Emperor won't be too harsh on you because of your contributions. There are also people who roared. At this point, only Su Yin would lower his head and admit defeat to save the Thunder Immortal Emperor's will. The Emperor had already stood up. Who else could say anything? Time was no longer the space-time of the past. Su Yin didn't have the space-time Emperor behind him, only a corpse. The Thunder Immortal Emperor wanted to kill Su Yin? No one would doubt this. If the Thunder Immortal Emperor really released his killing intent, Su Yin wouldn't be able to live. After all, he was a supreme emperor and was already the most powerful person in the immortal world. In the Immortal Cave, many people were calling out. Many people hoped that Su Yin would lower his head and admit defeat. Su Yin, you're so impressive. So many people are pleading for you. Ha ha ha. Even I'm a little soft-hearted. The Thunder Immortal Emperor laughed. You have to remember that everything in this world belongs to you only if the immortal world gives it to you. If they don't give it to you, you can't snatch it. The Emperor's heavenly aura spread. Everything in the universe burned brightly. Heaven and earth rotated vigorously. It was really like a sea of light that was boiling intensely. It formed a vast momentum of heaven and earth that couldn't be changed. The young emperor was anxious. Was the Thunder Immortal Emperor going to let Su Yin go? Wasn't he worried that he would become an emperor in the future? But to the Thunder Immortal Emperor, what was an emperor? A cabbage? It was extremely difficult to become an emperor. It wasn't something that could be done with extraordinary talent and a terrifying physique. Without a long time of accumulation, how could it be done? Su Yin. Some people were worried that Su Yin would let his emotions affect his decisions. Thunder Immortal Emperor, my prestige is not as great as yours. Su Yin straightened his back and said, I, Su Yin, am from the celestial court from the human world. If you want me to kneel, you... Su Yin pointed at him and roared, no. 10,000 spirits trembled and the heroes were terrified. Su Yin's thunderous words resounded throughout the heavens and earth, reverberating throughout the entire fairy cave. The rumbling sound had truly shocked everyone. Su Yin, don't let your emotions affect your decisions. The Heavenly Force King roared, his eyes bloodshot and his chest heaving. He was truly worried that Su Yin would die here in the Immortal Cave and be killed by the emperors. The barbarian god's heart was burning with anger. But now that things had come to this, he hoped that Su Yin would temporarily lower his head and endure the humiliation. Once he lost his life, he would have nothing left. Bastard! The Thunder Immortal Monarch was enraged. The heaven and earth rumbled as the supreme Emperor Dao Law was released in an instant. It formed a vast and boundless lightning abyss, causing the macro world to be destroyed and the stars in the sky to be torn apart. This world was being destroyed, and was about to evaporate. Everything was about to explode. Everything in the universe was torn apart, and Su Yin was about to be destroyed. Don't. Too many people roared when they saw the Thunder Immortal Emperor waving his hand, wanting to kill Su Yin. Boom! A majestic aura was awakened in an instant. It was boundless and made the broken universe tremble violently. A huge claw tore the sky apart and pressed down in an instant, blocking the Thunder Immortal Emperor's hand. At the same time, the dragon claw shone and became much more terrifying in a short period of time. It released a vast, immemorial dragon's might. What's that? Many people were shocked when they saw a yellow dragon's body rising in the world. An extremely majestic supreme aura was released, filling the entire fairy cave. It was so terrifying that it felt like the end of the world. The Thunder Immortal Elder's face was extremely ugly. The heavenly dragon maiden had awakened Dean's place of seclusion. A yellow dragon was lying in the sky. Its roar was enough to shake the millions of ancient worlds. It had awakened from its slumber. It's Deanzwa. Su Yin can be saved. Deanzwa has come out of seclusion. The heroes shouted in surprise. Both the left and right Deans had come out of seclusion. A dragon came out of the sky. It was like an innate divine spirit that was born when the world was created. It was full of supreme dragon's might. At the same time, the old dragon raised his huge claw and opened the heaven and earth universe pagoda. Big brother, the Phoenix King roared excitedly. Hot tears almost rolled down his cheeks. He revealed his true form and turned into a huge, immortal phoenix. He spread his wings and split the sky. In fact, the Phoenix King was really lucky to be able to become sworn brothers with an emperor. Back then, the Phoenix King was almost regarded as a peak talent in the fairy cave. Otherwise, he wouldn't be qualified to establish the immortal Phoenix army. However, the Phoenix King didn't choose to stay in the fairy cave and even refused to become the old dragon's disciple. Back then, the Phoenix King was a genius who shook the world. The old dragon was so angry that he used his Saint Realm incarnation to fight with the Phoenix King. He said that if the Phoenix King could defeat his incarnation, he would become sworn brothers with him. However, he didn't expect the Phoenix King to really do it. This made the old dragon speechless. He reluctantly acknowledged this little brother. Who suppressed you? And second immortal elder, who is rebelling. The old dragon was furious. He was known as the true Dragon Emperor, an extremely ancient creature in the immortal world. He was also one of the 3 giants of Immortal Elder Academy. Thunder Immortal Elder shivered. So did the young emperor. You bastards. You 2 bastards. You're really rebelling. The old dragon directly reached out his huge claw and attacked Thunder Immortal Elder and young emperor. This made the 2 miserable experts terrified. Thunder Immortal Emperor raised his hand to stop him. At the same time, he said, "There's a reason for this. They are following my orders. These 2 bastards, what kind of dogs are they? How dare they suppress second immortal elder and even my brother?" The old dragon cursed. He spat out a mouthful of saliva, which turned into heavy rain and rushed towards Thunder Immortal Emperor. Thunder Immortal Emperor's old face was ugly. He raised his big sleeve and swept away the rainwater. He shouted coldly, "Don't go too far." Calling him a bastard made the Thunder Immortal Emperor furious. He also had a bit of a headache. He didn't expect this old dragon to come out of seclusion. This was a ruthless character, and his temper was also extremely irritable. His mouth was full of filthy words, and he was old and indecent. "You 2 bastards, come over here and kneel before Grandpa Dragon. Apologize to my brother." The old dragon ignored Thunder Immortal Emperor. His dragon eyes stared at young Emperor and Thunder Immortal Elder. His angry shout made the 2 experts' bodies tremble. Even great success, immortal kings couldn't take it anymore. Their blood and chi were in chaos, and their bodies almost exploded. Old dragon, Thunder Immortal Emperor's eyes widened in anger. His eyes shot out 2 hellish lights. He said angrily, "I said, they are following my orders. Old thing, why are you so loud? It's not like I'm deaf." The old dragon looked askance at Thunder Immortal Emperor and shouted, If you don't give me an explanation today, all the juniors of Thunder Immortal Emperor's lineage will die." As soon as he finished speaking, Lei Hongbao's body suddenly exploded. The experts of Thunder Immortal Emperor's lineage trembled in fear. Was he crazy? He started a massacre and killed Lei Hongbao, an expert who had the potential to become an immortal king, in front of Thunder Immortal Emperor. Great Immortal Elder died. I know you're upset, but don't vent your anger on me. Thunder Immortal Emperor's face was gloomy. He shouted coldly, "This matter has been verified. He died while saving a junior from the human realm. I'm now judging Su Yin for his crimes." Sky Force King knelt on the ground and shouted at Old Azure Dragon, "Old Dragon Emperor, I, Sky Force King, have experienced countless life and death situations in my life. I've killed a large number of experts from the Immortal Cave. Even an Immortal Elder died while saving me. Old Dragon Emperor, please judge me together and kill me. I don't want to live anymore." Roar, Barbarian God, let out a sullen roar and said, "I've only joined the Immortal Cave for about 10 years. A few years ago, a deacon expert from the Immortal Cave sacrificed his life to save me in the Great War of the Three Realms battlefield. Please judge me for my crimes." Skyforce King also stood out and roared, asking for the death penalty. "Old Dragon, I've also killed a lot of people. Kill me." Tai Baotsai's voice was like a pig being slaughtered. "A large number of disciples from the Immortal Cave have killed a lot of people. I think we should all die together with Su Yin." "Rebel, are you all rebelling?" Thunder Immortal Emperor's face was gloomy. A large number of disciples knelt down and pleaded for Su Yin. Su Yin's prestige had exceeded Thunder Immortal Emperor's expectations. The appearance of the real Dragon Emperor had changed the situation. "You're all meritorious people. What crimes are you guilty of?" Old Azure Dragon's expression was cold. He said disdainfully, "Unlike some bastard descendants who have no meritorious service and can go into seclusion in the Immortal King creation land." Heaven and earth rumbled. The entire world was shaking. The scene was a bit terrifying. The two great monarch experts were about to clash. In a short period of time, the entire Emperor City was in a state of panic. Thunder Immortal Emperor's eyes shot out two terrifying bolts of lightning. He said coldly, "Immortal Elder Academy's 3 giants and 9 great Immortal Elders. I think we should directly vote on this matter." "Not good." Skyforce King's expression changed greatly. Once Immortal Elder Academy's most powerful meeting was held, they could decide on any major matter in the immortal world. They could even execute Su Yin because they had the highest authority. Xian Wei Huan and the others came from Emperor clans. Among the 9 great Immortal Elders, only Yi Lin Yun and the Chaos Immortal Elder could most likely support Su Yin. The others might stand on the Xian people's side. "I support Thunder Immortal Emperor. Su Yin came from a human world. He doesn't have the qualifications to enjoy the immortal world's natural luck. I also support Thunder Immortal Emperor. A person from the lower realm dares to disrespect a monarch expert. Moreover, the death of Spacetime Emperor is indeed closely related to Su Yin. This is related to our world's monarch expert, yet he fell because of a person from the lower realm. This is a debt of blood." In an instant, 5 great immortal elders stood out. The storm here was a bit shocking. Among the 9 great immortal elders, 2 of them weren't here, and only 1 chose to abstain. Su Yan's deep eyes looked at all of this. His heart was filled with sorrow and determination. "Do you see? This is the general trend. Thunder Immortal Emperor's entire body released a supreme might." He said coldly, "The other 2 great immortal elders aren't in the Immortal Cave. Even if they choose to support Su Yin, do you all still not have enough votes? Su Yin, come here. I want to see who dares to make things difficult for you." The old dragon's attitude was extremely domineering. He said coldly, "An old bastard teaming up with a group of little bastards, ignorant dogs. I think Immortal Elder Academy should just disband." The 5 great immortal elders' expressions were ugly, but they were powerless to retort. "True Dragon Emperor, don't make a mistake." Thunder Immortal Emperor's aura instantly became terrifying. He said coldly, "If you don't want to work anymore, then just get lost." No one will stop you. Old bastard, why do you still want to use force against me? The old azure dragon laughed angrily. This is the general trend. You won't do. Thunder Immortal Emperor laughed loudly. He didn't fear the old azure dragon at all. What if I join in? Will it be enough? Suddenly, the emperor corpse on Su Yan's back slowly crawled up. This process was a bit terrifying. The sleeping emperor corpse woke up, and its eyes also opened. The brilliance that shot out made the heavens bleed. Chapter 2044. The emperor's corpse on Su Yan's back slowly got up. A blood-red divine light shot out from his eyes, causing the great path of the immortal world to break apart. An extremely strong aura of death flooded the entire immortal cave in a short amount of time. Roar! The ancient emperor's corpse let out a hoarse roar. Its blood-stained body trembled violently as blood gushed out. Soon, blood splashed everywhere, and the sky exploded. In the great world with a sea of blood, the emperor's corpse roared at the sky. The space-time collapsed, and time seemed to have reached its limit. The blood-red sky collapsed, and the 9 heavens fell. Oh my God! Everyone in the universe trembled. Their hearts were filled with horror. Did the emperor's corpse come back to life? Or was the space-time emperor really not dead? Xian Weihuan fell to the ground. His entire body was emitting cold air as he trembled. Of course, the young emperor's appearance was even more frightening. He was paralyzed on the ground. He was so frightened that he cannot speak. At this moment, the space-time emperor really seemed to have returned. The emperor's corpse was reviving. It emitted a boundless, ferocious aura and roared into the sky. It was like a ghost god crawling out of a devil's den. The emperor planet was rumbling. On this magnificent planet, countless living beings trembled in fear. What kind of gaze was that? It was too cold and cruel. The cracked emperor's corpse was emitting a terrifying, ferocious aura. It was as if a peerless devil master was awakening. It was filled with killing intent that made people tremble. Space-time Emperor. Su Yan's eyes widened. It was as if the space-time Emperor had turned into another person. He was filled with a ferocious aura and thick power of death and destruction. He tore the sky apart, and a blood-red sea flooded the great universe. Su Yan was momentarily terrified. The space-time Emperor seemed to have turned into another person. The death aura of the 3 ancestral gods was devouring the Emperor's body. However, in an extremely short amount of time, Su Yan's primordial spirit throbbed. He realized that a broken golden flower emerged from the space-time Emperor's broken soul. As it bloomed, it suppressed the ferocious aura in his body. Su Yan roared. This was the power of the 3 realms flower. It was no small matter. It was true that both the Xian people and the Xian people were defeated. The space-time Emperor's will was self-centered and contained the most powerful and domineering will. There was no way he would allow his body to be taken over by someone else, especially someone like him. Even if he died, there was no way he would turn into a devil. His pupils shot out an extremely cold, murderous light. Harmful substances continuously leaked out from his emperor's body, surging and surging, even collapsing the space beyond the heavens, propelling an extremely terrifying power of death and destruction, rushing into the heavens. The entire cosmos beyond the heavens was simply refined, turning into a terrifying great black hole. Then, blood radiance surged, making all of Emperor City appear like a sea of blood. The scene extremely bitter. It's coming back to life. It is coming back to life. Xiao Di suddenly shrieked and pointed at the corpse. Evil energy has taken over the Emperor's body. It's very likely that the 3 ancestral gods who killed him are corroding his body. What? Countless people trembled, their hairs standing on end. The space-time Emperor's might was unparalleled. If his body was corroded by evil energy after he died, it would be a disgrace to the immortal realm, and it would also lead to uncontrollable consequences. Some people believed it because the space-time Emperor's aura was too violent. He was definitely not a venerable great immortal elder. His primordial spirit seemed to have been replaced by evil energy. Kill him. Kill him now. Xiao Di roared, his eyes bulging. Otherwise, if the space-time emperor becomes evil, it will be a disaster for Emperor's City and the Immortals' Grotto. Boom! In an instant, a huge silver shield slammed into Xiao Di's skull, dripping with blood. Ah! Xiao Di screamed in agony. His skull was torn apart, and his entire body almost rotted. Blood spurted out of his pores, and he was in excruciating pain. His body fell to the ground, trembling. "Give me your life, Xiao Di!" Su Yan roared in anger. His body was burning with anger as he attacked with the 9 escape forms. At the same time, he roared, "The space-time emperor is forcing the harmful energy out of his body. He's fine. Give him some time, and he will recover." As he spoke, the 9 great hidden armors covered the entire universe and headed straight for Xiao Di. "Su Yan, how dare you kill me?" Xiao Di screamed in despair. His body was trembling, and the 9 escape forms were closing in on him. Boom! Suddenly, the entire world was filled with lightning radiance like a sea. Thunder Immortal Emperor suddenly woke up, roaring through heaven and earth. "Immortal Elder Academy's experts, listen to my orders. Exterminate the evil Emperor corpse. Eradicate the source of evil. Kill." "You old fool." Su Yan's eyes bulged, and his body emitted endless flames of anger. The Thunder Immortal Emperor pounced on the Space-Time Emperor. Old Azure Dragon's reaction was very fast. He arrived in an instant. The 2 terrifying experts fought, forming a world-burning Emperor Sea. The sky collapsed, and the earth cracked. Gods cried and ghosts cried. Moreover, during this process, the Phoenix King and the others came out. This was because a group of experts charged at the Space-Time Emperor with evil intentions. "Ah, kill!" Su Yan roared in anger. He had no choice but to give up on killing Xiao Di. His body soared into the universe. In a short period of time, his aura was terrifying. The 9 escape forms drew on the divine power of the stars and emitted an endless, terrifying aura. In just a flash, Su Yan rushed to the front of the Space-Time Emperor. During this process, a group of experts along the way trembled. The current Su Yan could fight to the death with a great success, Immortal King. How could they resist? A large number of forbidden experts died, and several Immortal Kings also suffered heavy losses. Bang bang. Bloody light surged. Su Yan was incomparably domineering. A bloody crack appeared in the sky and earth. It was extremely terrifying. Su Yan's black hair danced in the wind. He rode Daesung and dominated the world. He guarded in front of the Space-Time Emperor and emitted a monstrous killing intent. He wanted to slaughter the entire Immortal Cave. "Su Yan, you've gone mad." An expert from the Xian people rebuked angrily. "The Space-Time Emperor has already fallen into the demonic path. How dare you start a massacre? You will die without a doubt. A bunch of blind dogs. If you want to die, then come. I, Su Yan, will accompany you to the end." Su Yan shouted angrily. Cold lightning shot out from his eyes, revealing a peerless, domineering aura. Boundless killing intent flowed out. "Whoever dares to come close will be killed without mercy." Yi Linyan roared. One after another, experts stood in all directions to protect the Space-Time Emperor. The experts from the Thunder Immortal Emperor and the other forces could only watch helplessly. With 2 great success Immortal Kings and a group of experts like the Monkey King protecting them, who could kill their way over? Thunder Immortal Emperor, open your dog eyes wide and see who's back. The old Azure Dragon laughed loudly. It sensed a familiar aura that was speeding up the return of the Space-Time Emperor. The heavenly river of the 3 realms began to rumble. The Silver Star also began to shake. Then, strands of Emperor's origin essence leaked out and flowed into the Emperor corpse. Su Yan was pleasantly surprised. This was the Emperor's origin essence left behind by the great immortal before he died. Now that it was being absorbed by the Emperor corpse, it was enough to show that the Space-Time Emperor was returning. Suddenly, the Space-Time Emperor's cold and cruel eyes gradually regained consciousness and returned to normal. In the end, he turned into an emperor whose might shook the world. The sky was filled with cold and terrifying bloody light. It surged and sputtered, exploding in the space-time beyond the sky. In the next moment, the space-time emperor's ancient body shone. A vast energy rain whistled out. This was the endless energy that had accumulated in the sky well of the three realms. At this moment, it began to erupt with the space-time emperor's resurrection. Roar! A loud roar exploded. The heavens fell and the earth cracked. Ghosts cried and gods howled. The creatures in the immortal cave were trembling. They sensed the emperor's might that had existed since ancient times. It was as if it had appeared in the past and future, and then penetrated into this world. It's really the great immortal elder. He's still alive. The creatures in the immortal cave cried out in horror. The great immortal elder was still alive. He hadn't died. Roar! The Phoenix King and the others roared towards the sky. Their eyes were brimming with tears. The space-time emperor was still alive. He hadn't died. I knew it. How could the space-time emperor die so easily? Too many experts cried out in excitement. They stared at the space-time emperor who had completely returned. His divine might was matchless. This was the great immortal elder they were familiar with. He was one of the three giants of the Immortal Academy, a peak expert. He's alive. The Cien people and the other powers were stupefied. This time he was really alive. Some of the poisonous aura was forced out. The complete space-time emperor was reborn. He didn't seem to be in a heavily injured state. The origin of the earth in the sky well of the three realms gave the space-time emperor a huge amount of life essence. It made him seem a few decades younger. Although he still looked a bit old, he was definitely much better than when he was overseeing the three realms battlefield. Boom! A brand new figure appeared in the sky. His aura swallowed the ancient river. An extremely terrifying aura filled the universe's space-time. He raised his palms, and boundless fighting strength appeared. In an instant, the slumbering three realms heavenly river also woke up. Space-time Emperor, let's talk things out. The Thunder Immortal Emperor's expression changed. He was actually still alive. This was too ridiculous. You deserve to die for bullying my disciple. The Space-Time Emperor roared and charged over. He was like a great demon king who wanted to destroy the world. His eyes were filled with killing intent. The Thunder Immortal Emperor had no choice but to erupt. However, just as he moved, the old Azure Dragon's huge claw pressed down. This was a true Dragon Emperor. A casual attack from him was extremely powerful, let alone stopping the Thunder Immortal Emperor. The huge claw was about to collapse the great Tao of lightning. It was a peerlessly terrifying scene. The Thunder Immortal Emperor trembled. He was attacked by the old Azure Dragon and the great Immortal Emperor. The whole world was filled with boundless Emperor's might. If it wasn't for the fact that all the living beings in the universe were gathered in the Emperor's star, they would have perished in an instant. The Emperor's city was in an uproar. Billions of living beings watched the three extremely terrifying figures collide in a short period of time. The firmament of the Emperor's city exploded. The stars in the sky were about to fall. Even the outer space was shaking violently. What happened? The experts in the distant areas were terrified. A huge change happened in the Emperor's city. The three supreme experts clashed in a short period of time. It was simply enough to shake the entire immortal world. It was terrifying enough to sink the Emperor's city. The terrifying change shocked the billions of races in the immortal world. All the great Emperor clans were in an uproar. A battle between emperors broke out in the Emperor's city. Two emperors joined hands to attack one person. No matter how terrifying and unrivaled the Thunder Immortal Emperor was, he was still suppressed by the Space-Time Emperor and the true Dragon Emperor. The two of you joined hands. You've gone too far. The Thunder Immortal Emperor looked very miserable. His hair was disheveled. He screamed miserably. Even his head was slapped by the Space-Time Emperor. Blood flowed out. Chapter 2045. A bloody battle between giants was something that was rarely seen throughout the ages. The entire Emperor city was rumbling, loud noises ringing into the heavens. The creatures in the city felt a chill run down from head to toe. If not for this city being immeasurable, the intense battle that erupted in Immortal Cave would have destroyed Emperor City. Heavens! Everyone trembled. Boundless pressure continuously crushed towards Emperor City, tearing apart the 9 heavens, producing an enormous bloody hole. All types of terrifying matter swept outwards into outer space. Outer space was resplendent and blazing, radiating boundless time and space. The meteors in the heavens all exploded, erupting with a surging meteor shower. An unmatched emperor within the lightning abyss had disheveled hair, face bleeding. He roared miserably. He suffered the joint attacks of 2 great emperors. That one seems to be Thunder Immortal Emperor, one of Immortal Elder Academy's 3 giants, Thunder Immortal Emperor. The older generation experts cried out in alarm. Thunder Immortal Emperor suffered the joint attacks of 2 great emperors. In a short period of time, he was beaten until his entire body was covered in injuries. There was even emperor blood that splashed out, dyeing outer space red, even burning the great Tao on its own. The people of the world saw the 3 realms' heavenly rivers, and there were some who saw the true dragon Great Halberd. This was an extremely terrifying battle between emperors. It was an intense battle, the roars making even immortal realms' great earth rumble. Spacetime Emperor, it's Spacetime Emperor. Someone roared out emotionally. I see Spacetime Emperor. Heavens, am I seeing things? It really is that elder. Heavens, he is still alive. What exactly happened? How did Spacetime Emperor survive? Immortal Elder Academy's 3 giants are fighting a bloody battle. What exactly happened? Countless creatures released cries of disbelief. Were the heavens playing a joke on them? The living Spacetime Emperor was like a mad demon, grasping the 3 realms' heavenly rivers, grasping time and space, sweeping through the world. His palms were like a flood of history, instantly blasting Thunder Immortal Emperor until he coughed out large mouthfuls of blood. Spacetime Emperor roared towards the heavens, his eyes releasing terrifying cold lightning, containing endless murderous order. He was going to crush Thunder Immortal Emperor. Thunder Immortal Emperor was about to go crazy. Spacetime Emperor was still alive, recovering, to the extent where he even made it through a period of decline. The old Azure Dragon's great claws smashed into Thunder Immortal Emperor's back, making his skin split open and his flesh exposed. His emperor body trembled, releasing a great cry. Are you all force me to destroy Emperor City? Don't force me. Thunder Immortal Emperor roared angrily. A vast lightning abyss appeared within his bleeding Immortal Emperor body. Billions of lightning bolts struck down, containing the Emperor's Tao order. In a short period of time, it erupted intensely and resisted the situation of certain death. Ancestor, save me. At this time, old Thunder Immortal's despairing cries resounded. This was because he had been suppressed by Su Yin once more. Even though they were in the space-time of the Emperor battlefield, Su Yin was still able to control the 9 great hidden armors, activate the humanoid puppet, and wear the sky profound battle armor. His divine might was still overwhelming. How dare you, brat? The Thunder Immortal Emperor's eyes widened. He was not Lei Hongbao, but a great success immortal king. Once he died, this would be an extremely heavy blow to this bloodline. They would lose a giant who had hopes of reaching emperor level in the future. The Thunder Immortal Emperor summoned the world-extinguishing Thunderhammer. Unfortunately, he could not interfere in Su Yan's battle since the Spacetime Emperor and the old Azure Dragon had joined forces. The Thunder Immortal Emperor flew into a rage and roared. Do you really want to cause a bloody battle between emperors for a person from the lower realm? Have you considered the consequences? So what if he's from the lower realm? Do you think he can be bullied by you, old man? Your entire bloodline deserves to be killed. Su Yan's black hair danced in the wind, and his eyes were blazing. In the next moment, his entire body emitted a monstrous killing intent. He swung his strong arms and slammed old Thunder Immortal to the ground, creating a huge hole. Buffed, old Thunder Immortal wailed in pain. His broken body trembled like a toad that was trampled to death. It was too miserable. All the bones in his body had been shattered by Su Yan. He was on the verge of death. He wailed miserably. hoping that the emperors of this bloodline could protect him. Boom! Su Yin lifted his foot and stepped on Old Thunder Immortal. His powerful aura surged as he roared furiously. Young Emperor, you dog, where can you escape to? Come out. Young Emperor had already escaped. He ran faster than a rabbit and left the immortal cave. If he did not leave now, he would die here. The Space-Time Emperor would not spare him. Come out. Su Yin was burning with rage. He smashed Old Thunder Immortal's body on the ground again and again. He roared, "The heavens will not forgive you if you don't die. Young Emperor, come out." The creatures in the Imperial City exclaimed, causing a huge commotion. The mighty young emperor was once again scolded by Su Yin. No one knew where the young emperor was hiding. There was no trace of him in the Imperial City. However, Su Yin believed that the young emperor was definitely still in the Imperial City. He was not that fast and could not have left the Imperial City in a short time. But Old Thunder Immortal was about to be killed by Su Yin. He was covered in blood, and broken bones were spurting out of his pores. He looked too miserable. The two emperors worked together to stop Old Thunder Immortal. Old Azure Dragon laughed. I say, Space-Time Emperor, you're really shameless. You're already so old, and you're still playing such tricks. Ha ha! The entire Immortal Cave was in an uproar. The Space-Time Emperor was not dead. Was he faking his death? The people in the Imperial City were stunned. The fact that the Space-Time Emperor was not dead was confirmed. This was too much a shock for them. Ha ha! Ha ha! The Space-Time Emperor suddenly laughed. There was an indescribable bitterness and relief. He said, my disciple did everything he could to save my life. His primordial spirit was not completely destroyed, giving me hope to live. I wanted to wake up earlier and tell the world, but I really wanted to see it. I want to see what this world will be like after I die. I'm very shocked. It was Su Yin who saved the Space-Time Emperor. Back then, Su Yin was also in the Three-World Mountain. He was the one who brought the Space-Time Emperor back. The people cried out in shock. The impact of this matter was too great. An emperor should have died, but he was saved by Su Yin. Su Yin heaved a sigh of relief. It must be because of the Three-World Flower. This matter was also directly related to the young emperor. This was really karma. Su Yin did not know whether to laugh or cry. There were also people who were confused. Didn't Su Yin go to the immortal King Fortune land? Xian Wei Huan and the others were terrified. Su Yin had saved the great immortal elder's life. This kindness was too great. It seemed that no matter how strong the storm was today, there was no hope of getting rid of Su Yin. Boom! At this moment, Long Day Song raised his big hoof and crushed one of the Thunder Immortal Elder's thighs. The Thunder Immortal Elder was in so much pain that he wanted to die. Su Yin slapped his old face and shouted angrily, "What are you screaming for? I worked so hard in the Great Immortal Demon War and won 3 out of 3 battles to obtain the qualifications to enter the Immortal King Fortune Land. You old dog, you gave it to your son. What face do you have to live in this world?" The Thunder Immortal Elder howled in grief. His lifelong reputation was destroyed in a day. This was equivalent to announcing his crimes to the world. Monstrous waves swept across the world. The storm caused by this matter was too shocking. The one who entered the Immortal King Fortune Land was not Su Yin. Instead, it was the Tenrai of Beach who had lost the qualifications to participate in the Great Immortal Demon War. How could this be? What exactly happened? Why did this happen? Why did they harm the Imperial War God like this? He fought for the immortal world. Why do they treat him like this? Is it because the Space-Time Emperor died? Ridiculous. The Immortal King Fortune Land was actually the Tenrai of Beach. He did not participate in the Great Immortal Demon War. What qualifications does he have to go to the Immortal King Fortune Land to further his studies? The Imperial City was in turmoil. The Imperial War God was respected by everyone, but his qualifications to enter the Immortal King Fortune Land were taken away. This was too ridiculous. Who gave them the courage? Thunder Immortal Emperor's face was gloomy and cold. Emperor City was in complete chaos. Countless people were discussing passionately. This matter was a bit too great. It was already no longer just a family matter of Immortal Cave. Space-Time Emperor, Are you just going to watch as Su Yin continues to stir up trouble? Thunder Immortal Emperor's entire body was covered in blood, his injuries not light. He said coldly, "Everyone knows about this. Immortal Elder Academy's face has been greatly damaged. Are you all satisfied with this?" Ah. Immediately afterwards, Thunder Immortal Elder screamed miserably. His brain was directly blasted apart by Su Yin. His entire body also suddenly exploded. Even his primordial spirit was grabbed out by Su Yin. "Stop!" Thunder Immortal Emperor was furious. His figure instantly became terrifying. He bathed in the powerful lightning natural laws that covered the sky. In the instant he roared out, it was as if he was going to sweep through Immortal Cave. Space-Time Emperor's figure also rose from the ground, severing time and space, stopping Thunder Immortal Emperor. The three realms' heavenly rivers revolved around him, making him appear exceptionally terrifying. Space-Time Emperor, what exactly do you want? Thunder Immortal Emperor was furious. Thunder Immortal Elder was a great success, Immortal King. Could it be that he was just going to watch as he lost his life? "You and I will fight, decide life and death." Space-Time Emperor's words were like millions upon millions of claps of thunder. Great space-time cracks appeared all over the world, also reaching beyond the heavens. He said coldly, "However, before this, let Su Yin enter the Immortal King land of natural luck. In the heavens above and earth below, the universe's 8 desolations suddenly became oppressive to the extreme. Decide life and death." These words were like thunder from a clear sky, ringing by the ears of all living things. "Space-Time Emperor, are you really going to do this?" Thunder Immortal Emperor pointed at Su Yin, world-destroying lightning shooting out in all directions from his pupils. He shouted, "For a person from the lower realm, you want to decide life and death with me." Su Yin grabbed Thunder Immortal Elder's primordial spirit, his expression filled with worry. One had to understand that Thunder Immortal Emperor wasn't weak, similarly one of Immortal Elder Academy's 3 giants. He, Thunder Immortal Emperor, even grasped the complete heaven-opening lightning scripture. Once he fought against Space-Time Emperor, it would be hard to say whether he would live or die. A battle in outer space. Decide life and death. Space-Time Emperor shouted coldly. His ancient and terrifying figure surged with endless radiance. A great crack appeared in the space-time beyond the heavens. At the same time, he said coldly, "Let Tenrai Beach come out, or else your entire bloodline will be completely slaughtered by me today." Disgraceful! Thunder Immortal Emperor roared angrily towards the heavens. "Space-Time Emperor, I advise you not to make a mistake. You're already old. Without the power of a flourishing era, even if I kill you, it will still be an unfair victory." How long? In that instant, bloody light overflowed within Immortal Cave. Irresistible divine might leaked outwards, also everywhere, covering the entire space-time. In a flash, a large number of cultivators from Thunder Immortal Elder's bloodline fell, all of this happening in an instant. Those who were still alive were paralyzed on the ground, shivering. Thunder Immortal Emperor's bloodline was directly seriously injured. All living things were terrified. What was unmatched divine might? What was an emperor? Space-Time Emperor was already truly angered. He unleashed a massacre. He directly slaughtered a large number of experts from Thunder Immortal Elder's bloodline. Those who survived were already extremely limited. There were some who felt like Immortal Elder Academy was going to change. Now that things reached this point, if they didn't decide life and death, then it wouldn't do at all. If you still don't call Tenrai of Beakjout, then everyone related to you will die. Space-Time Emperor's words were a bit mournful, a bit ice-cold, as if he was an unmatched giant who overlooked the 9 heavens, 10 earths. He said coldly, "Me and Su Yin, our bloodline only has the 2 of us. Since you couldn't kill him before I woke up, then it is even more impossible now. You are forcing me." Thunder Immortal Emperor released a low roar. His entire body released endless streaks of lightning radiance. The world-destroying lightning hammer he grasped began to revive. A life and death battle between emperors, Is Space-Time Emperor really going to do this? At this time, at the limits of space-time, a massive figure rose, overlooking the boundless cosmos. Above his head was the heavens, below his feet great wastelands. His figure was hazy with endless chaotic energy, moving between star domains, terrifying to the point where the sea of stars trembled, the great stars in the sky about to fall. It was an extremely terrifying figure, incomparably grand, crossing the distant world. It was suffused with immortal martial power that made the entire world tremble. Immortal martial, great emperor. Someone's voice trembled. The monarch of the Cien people's generation arrived, stepping into Emperor City. Dark World is eyeing us like a tiger watching its prey. Right now, we should consider the greater situation as the most important. Another imposing figure shone, an aged voice resounding through Emperor City, sounding like a great bell, making the blood and chi of all living things surge. Another emperor appeared, his divine might boundless. He walked on the reincarnation river, overlooking the world, making Emperor City suddenly become overcast. All living things felt as if they fell into an ocean of death, unable to find the gate of life. The emperors of the Cien people and Reincarnation Emperor clan, these two great clans, arrived. They occupied Emperor City, illuminating the world beyond the heavens, divine might matchless. Chapter 2046. The immortal martial great emperor was like a peerless martial emperor. He walked over with a majestic gait, overlooking the entire imperial city. This was the current immortal monarch of the immortal race. He was extremely glorious and established the immortal martial lineage of the immortal race. Since ancient times, his influence in the immortal world was extremely great. Unfortunately, the Tianwu king of this lineage was defeated by Su Yan. Even the immortal monarch couldn't be compared to the current Su Yan. However, this lineage had emperors, immortal martial emperors. The current emperor of the reincarnation tribe was called Absolute Heaven Emperor. His status was similar to the Celestial Tyrant Emperor. Where Absolute Heaven Emperor stood, the heavens and earth flickered. As he breathed, the Tao of heaven and earth seemed to disintegrate, turning into the light of reincarnation. It was needless to say how terrifying he was. These were the two emperors of the monarch tribe. Their blood and chi were at their peak. They looked down on the imperial city, causing the entire city to fall silent. One had to know that 5 emperors were gathered in Emperor City, causing the entire space-time to darken and the vast immortal world to tremble. This was an incomparable storm of prosperity that swept through the world and caused the immortal world to change. It was too terrifying. No one had expected that at this moment, it would draw the attention of the 5 emperors who resided in the imperial city. Every single one of them was capable of commanding the world, controlling the general situation of the immortal dimension, and they were the pillars of support of the immortal dimension. The space-time emperor's expression was normal. He wasn't surprised. This was completely different from when the celestial tyrant emperor was suddenly killed. Once the emperors fought to the death, the emperors of the immortal world would definitely interfere. Kill! Suddenly, a huge gate opened outside the imperial city. Roars of war swept across the imperial city, causing a huge uproar. Boom! The heavens and earth rumbled. Tens of millions of soldiers rushed over. This was a group of gods and devils with cold auras. The army was as large as billions, and all of them were roaring. The warriors who had just returned from the battlefield were all unyielding. Their blood and chi surged, and they exuded an incomparably dense killing intent that could shatter the 9 heavens. Is the Imperial War God still alive? Is the Space-Time Emperor really all right? It was as if an army of millions and millions were roaring incessantly. When they received the news, they were terrified and in disbelief. Su Yan was still alive and was even being persecuted again. He could lose his life at any time. The Immortal Phoenix Army's main army charged over. At the same time, many experts from other armies had rushed over as well. When he saw that Su Yan was still alive, he heaved a sigh of relief. When he saw the 5 monarchs, they were all shocked. Something major definitely happened in Emperor City. Immortal Old Academy's third immortal elder's flesh was even blasted apart. Only a primordial spirit was left behind in Su Yan's hands. Why did you all suddenly come to the Imperial City instead of guarding the borders? The celestial martial emperor's expression was cold. He released a grand voice that transmitted into everyone's ears. No one expected that in this world where emotions were stifling, there would be millions and millions of soldiers from the three realms battlefield charging over. This truly shocked everyone. Su Yan's prestige was just too terrifying. The Phoenix King appeared in front of the great army. His vital energy surged endlessly, as if an unrivaled military marquee towering between heaven and earth. He shouted, Su Yan won 3 out of 3 battles in the immortal Devil Great War, yet he was replaced. What right does the Tenrai of Beach have to enter the place of a mortal king's natural luck? We need an explanation. The great army stationed outside the city roared into the heavens. With the immortal Phoenix army in the lead, there were also large amounts of old soldiers. When they learned that Su Yan encountered a great disaster, they were incomparably furious. Su Yan was a great contributor, so how could he be treated like this? Impudent. Thunder Immortal Emperor shouted angrily. The highest level of the immortal realm is making important decisions. What do you all know? Immediately withdraw and return to the three realms battlefield to defend against the world of darkness. What a joke. The Phoenix King said in a shrill voice, If you emperors are unreasonable and domineering and bully the great contributors of the immortal realm, we will not participate in any battlefield. We will not sacrifice our lives for the emperors. We will sacrifice our lives for all living beings in the world. We will fight for our homeland, and definitely not for the emperors. Kill, kill, kill. The immortal Phoenix army's millions of soldiers waved their flags and shouted. The entire sky was filled with a terrifying aura. As long as the Phoenix King gave the order, they would abandon everything and fight. So what if they were emperors? They could even give up on death. So why would they be afraid of the emperors of the immortal realm? Su Yan's blood was boiling. Looking at these iron-blooded soldiers, although he felt sad, the blood in his body also flowed in reverse. To be able to obtain the recognition of these hot-blooded and loyal soldiers, to be able to have them abandon everything to save him, Su Yan felt that these years of bitter battles in the immortal realm were worth it. Rebel, you all want to rebel. The Thunder Immortal Emperor was incomparably shocked and furious. He pointed at the Phoenix King and said, Treacherous things, you didn't receive any military orders, and you attacked the Emperor's city. Are you all leading the army to rebel? The Phoenix King was not the only one. A group of immortal kings stood out together. Yi Lin Yun, the Heavenly Monkey King, and the others all had their own armies. They were pressing towards the Emperor's city to support Su Yan. You bastard, you're putting such a big label on us. Do you think we don't exist? The old Azure Dragon was instantly enraged. He pointed his dragon claw at the Thunder Immortal Emperor and shouted angrily, Thunder Immortal Emperor, do you think you're already the master of the immortal realm? You bastard, do you know how many contributions the army in front of you has made for the immortal realm? Old thing, they're rebelling. Can't you see? What's the use of making so many contributions? The Thunder Immortal Emperor rebuked angrily. Are these still the troops of our immortal realm? I think they should change their surname to the human realm and leave the immortal realm with Su Yan. The Emperor's city was in an uproar. Many people's expressions changed. Su Yan was in great danger. It was hard to say whether he would survive in the Emperor's city. In the end, the three realms battlefield mobilized tens of millions of troops to attack the Emperor's city. The consequences were quite severe. So what if they rebelled? So what if they left the immortal realm? The Phoenix King was majestic and domineering. He roared angrily, We're fighting in the front line. You old thing, you're stirring up trouble behind us. You even want to persecute Su Yan and kill him. How did he provoke you? And that bastard Tenrai of Beach is qualified to enter the immortal king's fortune land. Phoenix King, shut up. The Thunder Immortal Emperor's primordial spirit, who was caught by Su Yan, quibbled. Before this happened, Su Yan was still in a state of death. But the entry to the immortal king's fortune land was already given. Once it was closed, it would be a waste of resources. We had no choice but to let the Tenrai of Beach enter the fortune land in advance. Do you really think others are fools? Su Yan's eyes were burning with anger. He grabbed the Thunder Immortal Emperor's primordial spirit tightly and said angrily, I just came to the immortal cave, and I was suppressed by you. And that bastard young emperor, did he run into his mother's womb to hide? Get out here and explain yourself. Shut up. The immortal emperor glared at Su Yan, his expression ugly. The emperors of his race were here, but Su Yan's mouth was still not clean. Tell the young emperor to get out here. Su Yan glared at the immortal emperor and shouted, Today, even if I die in the imperial city, there are some things I must clarify. Young emperor, I know you haven't run far. Get out here. Don't you want to take the position of Grand Immortal? Don't you want to control the three-realm sky, the river? Don't you want the space-time emperor's inheritance? Come out, you evil dog. You should be cut into pieces for deceiving your master and destroying your ancestors. The immortal emperor's eyes were cold and murderous. His eyes vaguely shot out an emperor's Dao towards Su Yan. What, immortal emperor, you want to kill my disciple in front of me? The space-time emperor's aura became even more terrifying. The immortal emperor's expression turned cold. You want to attack the imperial city? That's too bad. It's only right to protect the immortal world's emperor's war god. The space-time emperor replied coldly. I don't care how many of you come today. I'll fight to the death with the Thunder Immortal Emperor. Don't interfere. If I survive, I'll find you next. Space-time Emperor, do you think you're still the space-time Emperor of the past? The Immortal Emperor sneered and said coldly, I don't care if you fight to the death with the Thunder Immortal Emperor, but once the Immortal King Fortune land opens, you can't give up halfway. Otherwise, our world will have one less Immortal King. That's right. The Thunder Immortal Emperor sneered. Why would he be afraid of a declining space-time emperor? The old Azure Dragon's expression turned gloomy. The Xian people and the Reincarnation Emperor race came here to check Su Yan. They even directly went against the space-time emperor. Master, Su Yan is from the Celestial Court. The Heavenly Dragon Maiden secretly transmitted. The old Azure Dragon instantly understood. In fact, with Su Yan's current achievements, the Xian people's emperors could no longer bear to watch. That's right. The absolute Heavenly Emperor also nodded. Space-time Emperor, no matter how angry you are, you have to suppress it. Your disciple can be compensated for his grievances, but not now. They're going too far. The Phoenix King roared angrily. It was clear that he didn't want to give up. He also didn't want to let the Tenrai of Beach come out of the Fortune Land. The appearance of the two great emperor races of the immortal world, in addition to the Thunder Immortal Emperor, clearly showed that they wanted to suppress Su Yan. After all, the current Su Yan was too strong. Even a great success Immortal King had the qualifications to suppress him. If he was given a few more years, his achievements might be even more outstanding. It seemed like the emperor races couldn't sit still anymore. After all, these two great emperor races had suffered greatly in the hands of the Celestial Court. They definitely wouldn't let Su Yan grow. Otherwise, they wouldn't have stood out at this juncture. This was equivalent to completely falling out with the space-time emperor. I didn't expect that a dignified emperor, couldn't even protect what my disciple deserved. The space-time emperor laughed angrily. You guys are really something. I think there's no need for this immortal old courtyard to continue existing. Space-time emperor, you can't say it like that. The Tenrai of Beach has already entered. We can't let him out, right? This will waste an opportunity. It's fine to let Su Yan wait for a few years. Absolute Sky Emperor shook his head and said, We aren't deliberately targeting Su Yan. We're just thinking about the bigger picture. The Thunder Immortal Emperor shook his head and laughed. Since the two most ancient emperor races of the immortal world stood out to suppress Su Yan, even if the space-time emperor fought with his life on the line, it would be useless. Phoenix King, can you think of a way to contact the human world? At this moment, East Demon felt uneasy. Suddenly, he didn't want to retreat. Could Su Yan leave the immortal world alive? Now, The path between the immortal world and the human world had long been grasped by the Cien people. You want to inform your family? The Phoenix King was surprised. Could it be that the celestial court still had experts? These years, I've received a lot of information. The Cien people are secretly supporting the human world. East Demon transmitted his voice. Although the Cien people in the lower realm have been re-established, the Celestial Court's Great Elder is still a member of the Celestial Court. If you can pass on the information here, it will be sent back to the Celestial Court. The Phoenix King nodded secretly. It wouldn't be difficult to pass on some information. East Demon felt that the current situation was too dangerous. Even if the space-time Emperor retreated, the Cien people wouldn't let Su Yin go. It's already so noisy. The Starry Sky Emperor also came. Everyone, don't worry. The Dark World has temporarily retreated. They won't invade for a while. After saying that, the Starry Sky Emperor looked at the 9 divine escape techniques controlled by Su Yin. His expression was uncertain as he asked, Su Yin, let me ask you, where did Xing Yin go? Xing Yin disappeared. The Starry Sky Emperor searched the 3 realms battlefield, but couldn't find him. This made him very surprised, especially when the divine escape techniques fell into Su Yin's hands. Could it be that Su Yin killed Xing Yin? Starry Sky Emperor, you've finally shown yourself. I've been waiting for you for a long time. Su Yin looked at him, then at the various emperors. He sneered, today is really lively. I didn't expect that Su Yin, will be able to meet all the emperors in such a situation. I'm just a small emperor. I didn't expect to cause such a big storm. I really don't deserve it. Someone smiled bitterly. They wanted to say, if you didn't have the qualifications to suppress a great success Celestial King, no one would pay attention to you. The emperors of the various races wouldn't stand out either. Now, the emperors of the 3 great imperial clans had come. These 3 great imperial clans more or less had grievances with Su Yin. How could today's matter be resolved? It wouldn't be so easy to resolve this matter, unless the space-time emperor swallowed his anger and left with Su Yin. If you have something to say, say it. The celestial emperor's expression was cold. He had a bad feeling. Su Yin raised his hand and released the sealed Xing Yun. Xing Yun, many people were shocked. Wasn't this the great success, Celestial King of the Starry Sky Emperor clan? He had already been suppressed by Su Yin. What was going on? The Starry Sky Emperor's expression was extremely ugly. When did Su Yin do it? At this moment, Xing Yun was in a terrible state. He looked similar to the Thunder Immortal Elder. Su Yin threw him in front of the Grand Immortal Elder. When Xing Yun saw the Grand Immortal Elder again, he was scared silly. He was really still alive. Grand Immortal Elder. Xing Yun shouted in fear. This is me. It really has nothing to do with me. It has nothing to do with me. It's all done by the young emperor. It's all him. It has nothing to do with me. The space-time emperor's expression was cold, as if he had been punched. He staggered a little. He instantly understood that it was the young emperor who did it. At that time, Mo Tianjun said that someone wanted to harm him. It was his own people who wanted to harm him. He originally thought that it was the Starry Sky Emperor who did it secretly. He definitely didn't expect it to be the young emperor. Ha! The space-time emperor shouted in anger. He suddenly felt that he was a little pathetic. A mere young emperor dared to plot against him. It was because he had protected Su Yin that the young emperor saw him as a thorn in his side. Boom! In an instant, the celestial martial emperor raised his hand and smashed toward the starry sky cloud. Get lost! The space-time emperor roared. His gray hair danced. The 3 realms' heavenly river suddenly shone brightly and forcefully blocked the celestial emperor's attack. Even so, Xing Yun was still hit by a thunderbolt. His body was torn apart, and he screamed in pain. Xing Yun, the Cien people want to kill you. They want you to take the blame alone. Su Yin said, if you know what's good for you, you should take the blame yourself. Don't you see? The emperor of the Cien people is here. Shut up. The immortal martial emperor obviously knew some inside information and was furious. However, he didn't expect that the starry sky cloud would be silently suppressed by Su Yin. He had come to the imperial city prepared. Was this kid not afraid of death? Celestial Emperor, you. The corners of Xing Yun's mouth trembled. Su Yan's words made his hair stand on end. His crime was already confirmed. He would be a sinner for all eternity. He would be cursed by the world. No one from his bloodline would have a good ending. After all, he was a grand completion immortal king. How could he endure this? Even if he died suddenly, he didn't want to have such a terrible reputation. This was the biggest scandal in the immortal world, and also the biggest humiliation of the Starry Sky Emperor clan. Xing Yun, the young emperor, escaped. Su Yin grabbed Thunder Immortal Elder's primordial spirit and said coldly, "He wanted to kill me when I just arrived. Unfortunately, my master is lucky and won't die." Great Immortal Elder, it was the young emperor who contacted the Dark World to kill you. It has nothing to do with our clan. Xing Yun shouted in horror. Thunder Immortal Elder was beaten up like a dog. This made him panic. Whoosh! The vast space-time trembled strangely. The extremely oppressive aura made the old experts of the various clans shiver. The Starry Sky Emperor was also in a daze. He pointed at Xing Yun with a trembling finger. It was fine that he did it, but he was found out. Moreover, Xing Yun was suppressed by Su Yin. Countless people were scared out of their wits. They were trembling in fear from the bottom of their souls. The Heavenly Force King and the others were stunned. They thought they heard wrong. The young emperor contacted the Dark World's ancestor god to kill the space-time emperor. In the Imperial City, the emperor's faces changed one after another. Even the Thunder Immortal Emperor's face was extremely ugly. Their heads were buzzing. This was the young emperor that Xing Yun had personally identified. Xing Yun's words were really shocking. Many people were almost paralyzed. The army that had arrived roared, and their eyes were bloodshot. This was the reason why the three ancestor gods suddenly joined forces to attack the space-time emperor. At the same time, they also understood that Su Yin was not forced into a corner by the Dark World. It was the young emperor who did it. Xing Yun was definitely involved. Otherwise, he would not have identified the young emperor as the culprit. "You're talking nonsense." The Starry Sky Emperor reacted instantly. A terrifying mark flashed between his eyebrows. In an instant, Xing Yun screamed. His primordial spirit was extinguished. His body suddenly disintegrated. He could not live. The emperor of the clan released the primordial spirit contract. Xing Yun died instantly. The entire city trembled. Xing Yun was killed directly. If this was fake, why would the Starry Sky Emperor kill Xing Yun instantly? It seemed that it was most likely true. Xing Yun has gone crazy. The Immortal Emperor sighed. Su Yin, oh Su Yin, you don't have to use this method to deal with the young emperor. How dare you? The young emperor won 3 battles in the immortal demon battlefield. He is such a hero. How could he frame the great immortal? The Thunder Immortal Emperor sneered. However, their voices did not sound very confident. The Imperial City was silent. Billions of people were silent. The experts of the various sects sighed. Regardless of whether it was true or not, the various emperor clans did not investigate, especially when the Starry Sky Emperor killed Xing Yun directly. He had to stop before going too far. Su Yin looked at the bloody light of Xing Yun's explosion. He took a deep breath. He was surprised, but also not surprised. However, Su Yin looked at the space-time emperor, who had aged many years in an instant. His eyes reddened. He felt sad. Ha ha, ha ha ha. The space-time emperor laughed. He was not sad, but completely disappointed. Back then, he felt that he was going to die. He did not tell Su Yin what happened to him. He did not want him to investigate because he knew that he would not find anything. The emperor clans would not admit it. I didn't mean anything by doing this. I just want to make it public. Otherwise, it would be too uncomfortable to keep it in. Su Yin sighed. Xing Yun died a tragic death. I did not expect the Starry Sky Emperor to be so decisive. I admire you. The Starry Sky Emperor frowned. He did not expect the young emperor to be so bold. However, this crime was too serious. The Xian people would not admit it. If Xing Yun did not die, the relationship between the emperor clan and the Xian people would be very bad. Starry Sky Emperor, you killed a great success immortal king with your own hands. Does your conscience not hurt? Old Azure Dragon sneered. This was a heavy blow to the space-time emperor. The truth was too cruel. Even if there was conclusive evidence, it would not help. There was one thing that had to be admitted. The immortal realm was the world of the Emperor clans. The Emperor clans of the immortal realm were high and mighty kings. At the most critical moment, the Cien people were so strong that the space-time Emperor could not do anything. Whether you believe it or not, this is what I wanted to do the most when I returned to the Three Realms battlefield. Right and wrong are in the hearts of the people. Su Yin laughed. Since it has come to this, let's leave it at that. The space-time Emperor sighed. He aged countless years in an instant. He looked at the Imperial City, at the Immortal Cave, and at the silent people of the world. Bullying my lineage for having no one. The space-time Emperor's body was a bit stooped. He sighed and said, since it has come to this, I will step down from my position as the great immortal elder of the Immortal Academy. The matters of the Three Realms will have nothing to do with me from now on. Great immortal elder. Tens of thousands of creatures roared in grief. Many people cried. One could feel the great immortal elder's grief. He was completely heartbroken. His body swayed, and when he walked, he was weak and powerless. He could not stop laughing. The immortal martial emperor and the others were also silent. They did not say anything. Su Yin clenched his fists. He looked at the back of the great immortal elder. Looking at his lonely back, his chest was filled with grief and indignation. He took a deep breath. He wanted to do something. Su Yin, if you want to leave the immortal realm, no one will stop you. Thunder Immortal Emperor said coldly. Release the primordial spirit of the Thunder Immortal Elder. Since it has come to this, everything has come to an end. Do not mention it again in the future. Su Yan's black hair danced in the wind as he walked above the Imperial City. Every step he took was filled with killing intent. His essence, energy, and spirit were surging and powerful. He was not depressed or discouraged. Instead, he erupted with an even more powerful will that drowned out the world. Master, before I leave, I want to do something. If I leave like this, the enemy will be happy. I will not accept this. Su Yin roared angrily. He raised his hand and smashed the Thunder Immortal Elder's primordial spirit into pieces. Su Yan's body suddenly rose from the ground like a universe emperor star. He stuck close to the ground and moved forward. His fist suddenly smashed onto the emperor's sealing steel. I want to be conferred the title of emperor and put an end to my trip to the immortal realm. His roar was like thunder, echoing within the imperial city. It resounded in the ears of the emperors who were laughing complacently one after another. It also exploded in the ears of the space-time emperor who was leaving the imperial city. There are no chapters, a 6,000-word chapter. Chapter 2047. Elder Thunder Immortal's primordial spirit exploded, turning into fragments that filled the sky. The experts of Immortal Cave were dumbstruck. Immortal Elder Academy's third elder was directly killed by Su Yin. He was decisive and domineering, not showing any mercy, not fearing Thunder Immortal Emperor. Elder Thunder Immortal's primordial spirit shattered, turning into a resplendent rain of light that filled the sky, gradually disappearing from the world. But what made everyone in the world stunned was that this peerlessly graceful, known as the most terrifying Emperor War God of the immortal world, raised his fist and punched the Emperor's sealing steel, opening the Emperor's sealing battlefield in Emperor City. Su Yin, the Heavenly Power King's eyes were blood red. Once this battle started, it would be the most bitter time of his life, even more bitter than the immortal demon Great War. Since ancient times, no one had ever been crowned an emperor in a single battle. This was a challenge that was impossible to complete, and only those in the Emperor realm had the qualifications to open it. But how many years had it been since Su Yin stepped into the Emperor realm? The world admitted that Su Yin was powerful now, but he was only using a series of trump cards. At this moment, Emperor City was in an uproar, emitting an overflowing radiance that rushed into the sky, so dazzling that it made people's eyes bleed. Boom! Time and space seemed to have been cut off, turning into a vast and majestic battlefield that stretched across the peak of Emperor City. The arena was so huge that it was hundreds of millions of li long, resplendent, and overflowing into the sky, divine and holy. Heaven and earth trembled, the scene terrifying. The entire battlefield was blazing endlessly, like a huge sun that rose to the peak of the immortal world, illuminating the entire immortal world. Emperor sealing battlefield. Everyone in the world cried out in alarm. It was too shocking and too sudden. At this moment, Su Yin had opened up the world of the battlefield where he would be crowned as an emperor, causing countless living beings to roar. He had to challenge all the emperors of the celestial world in a single battle, and he had to stay on the battlefield for 9 days and 9 nights. Since ancient times, who could do this? Who could? No matter how shocking the experts were, even if they were giants who had once opened the future and walked towards the emperor realm, they all ended in failure. This was a challenge that was simply impossible to complete, simply impossible. Good boy, good boy. The celestial martial emperor laughed angrily. He had never expected that Su Yin would still want to fight at such a critical juncture. In fact, this time, he had chosen to die. He would rather die in battle in Imperial City than retreat in such a sorry state. Zhu Tiandi's expression was ice cold. It seemed like Su Yin was prepared to die in Imperial City and challenge all the emperors in the world. Anyone could go up on the stage. Under such harsh conditions, and the fact that Su Yin had provoked a few great emperor clans, it would be a miracle if he could survive even one day. Crowned emperor in one battle. Crowned emperor in one battle. In an instant, the battle cries outside the emperor's city were as loud as the ocean. The roars of the millions upon millions of soldiers shook the heavens, echoing within the emperor's city. They were filled with absolute faith in Su Yin, yearning for him to be crowned the emperor realm in a single battle. Revolt, they're all revolting. The thunder immortal emperor's expression was gloomy. Outside the emperor's city, millions upon millions of soldiers were roaring, cheering for Su Yin, hoping that he would win and be crowned emperor in one battle. The space-time emperor stopped in his tracks. He raised his hand and looked at the Imperial City battlefield with trembling eyes. He looked at the figure standing in the middle of the battlefield. At this moment, his heart, which had been suppressed to the bottom of the valley, was lifted. He roared, "Fight, Su Yin. Master can't protect you anymore." There was no way out. Either leave, stay, or die here. In this battle, Su Yin was fighting for his dignity, for the space-time emperor's dignity. His body was indomitable. Su Yan's figure was blazing and terrifying, like an invincible expert who was roaring in the emperor realm. His body flowed with the radiance of blood and qi, blotting out the sky and covering the sun, dominating the world. Su Yin turned into the most dazzling figure in Imperial City, like a king overlooking the 9 heavens and 10 earths. Cold lightning shot out from his eyes, filled with absolute dominance. What are you all waiting for? The thunder immortal emperor's expression was cold. He glared at the experts in the emperor's city and shouted, "The emperor battle arena has been opened. Are you all going to watch a person from the lower world be crowned emperor in our immortal world?" This sentence made many people's eyes shine with killing intent. They were ready to make a move. However, when they saw Su Yin on the stage, who was like the sun in the sky, they were truly terrified. Who did not know of this person's ferocity? Who did not know of it? They simply did not have the courage to step onto the battlefield. The scene was a little strange. No one dared to enter the arena. The thunder immortal emperor's expression was cold. He pointed at the Phoenix King and shouted, "Why aren't you mobilizing the army to kill this kid?" The Phoenix King's expression was cold. He stood in front of the army and didn't say a word. He pretended that he didn't hear the thunder immortal emperor's words. Do you see that? The thunder immortal emperor looked at the celestial martial emperor and then at the celestial tyrant emperor. He said coldly, "Everyone doubts a monarch expert. The monarch race is no exception. If this continues, where will the monarch race's authority be? Once a war breaks out, who will listen to our orders? Thunder immortal emperor, you don't have to be anxious." The celestial martial emperor said coldly, "The young man just has a little bit of prestige. Wait for his invincible legend to shatter. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. I'll just watch the Monarch Race's army kill this kid. The Thunder Immortal Emperor was furious. The Thunder Immortal Elder, whom he thought highly of, had his primordial spirit shattered by Su Yin. If he couldn't kill Su Yin, how could he be appeased? The Celestial Martial Emperor stared at the Starry Sky Emperor. His eyes were cold. The Starry Sky Emperor smiled bitterly. The Starry Sky Cloud had made public the matter of the Space-Time Emperor's death. The Xian people wouldn't let it go. When a matter here was over, they would definitely settle the score. Forget it, forget it. I'll take the blame for this. The Starry Sky Emperor waved his hand. Outside the Imperial City, behind the army of billions, 100,000 sovereigns rushed out from one of the armies and charged towards the Monarch Race's battlefield. This was 100,000 sovereigns. Their auras were too strong, especially the Sovereign Race army that belonged to the Starry Sky Emperor race. The moment their auras were fully released, it was like a boundless ancient star sea, emitting a monstrous law order. Rumble. The 100,000 Sovereign Race army charged towards the battlefield. The people shouted and the horses neighed. 100,000 Sovereign Race army, this someone shouted in shock. They didn't know much about being crowned monarch in a single battle. The battlefield was limited to 100,000 people. This was a shocking number. Suddenly, Su Yin could resist the attack of 100,000 Sovereign Race army. But what a terrifying number. Who could stop them? Who could compete with them? The Monarch Race's battlefield resonated fiercely. The 100,000 Sovereign Race army's aura engulfed the world. Their bodies emitted the radiance of the Milky Way, emitting a monstrous killing intent. In an instant, it covered the entire battlefield world. Su Yan's figure seemed small. Who could match them? Even a taboo realm expert would have a headache. But now, if Su Yin wanted to be crowned monarch in a single battle, he had to face the 100,000 Sovereign Race army. Could he stop them? In the history of the Monarch Race's battlefield world, no one had encountered such a lineup on the first day. After all, this was the elites of the Sovereign Race. The 100,000 Sovereign Race army stepped into the battlefield world and looked down on the world. Su Yin, I respect you as an iron-blooded overlord. Leave. A soldier roared. You can't stop them. Once our 100,000 Sovereign Race army charges, no one can stop them. Leave. One of the leading experts of the 100,000 Sovereign Race army stood out. He was as cold as a god and shouted, Su Yin, you can die if you want, but there's no need to choose such an ignorant ending. The 100,000 Sovereign Race army stood in the battlefield world, emitting the blazing radiance of the Milky Way order. The sky was filled with the convergence of the Milky Way order, forming a vast Milky Way world. Facing such a situation, even the taboo realm experts were terrified. Who could stop them? I'm afraid no one knows how strong Su Yin is. Someone whispered. This was the invincible war god of the current era. Su Yin, who had entered the Sovereign Race realm, naturally wouldn't be weak. Everyone stared at that figure. He was very calm from the beginning to the end. His long black hair draped over his shoulders, and his figure stood tall, looking very cold and terrifying. He wasn't afraid, even in the face of the 100,000 Sovereign Race army. Make your move. I'll kill whoever stops me. Su Yan's words were cold, without the slightest emotion. Good. The leading expert waved his hand, and the 10,000 Sovereign Race army stepped out. He said angrily, if we kill one person with 100,000, the world will curse us. 10,000 Sovereign Race, go out and kill Su Yin. Kill. The 10,000 Sovereign Race army roared. With the order of the leading general, they instantly charged forward. A great battle was about to erupt. The 10,000 Sovereign Race army charged over. The Milky Way filled the sky, and the killing intent formed the scene of the ancient star sea falling. The sound of killing rumbled, and the terrifying heavenly might descended. It was enough to destroy the world. All of this was approaching Su Yan's moment. His eyes opened, and two terrifying bolts of lightning tore through the sky and the earth. In an instant, Su Yan's body was in the ancient lightning abyss world. The sky was filled with terrifying lightning. They rolled down and finally formed billions of lightning torrents. Sky-opening lightning scripture. Su Yin roared towards the sky. His aura was terrifying to the extreme in a short period of time. He was like a supreme war god who had torn apart the shackles of the universe. This starry sea world directly exploded. Kill! He roared again. His battle blood surged, and billions of lightning bolts raged. His killing intent was boundless, and it was bone-chilling. At this moment, the 10,000 sovereigns were terrified. Their bodies trembled. They didn't know how terrifying Su Yin was, but he was many times more terrifying than when he broke through to the sovereign race domain. He was like a terrifying young, celestial emperor with peerless courage. No matter how terrifying the world was, it couldn't suppress Su Yin. Oh no! A large number of sovereigns roared and charged over at lightning speed. However, their speed was too slow. They had to pay the price for underestimating Su Yin. Kill! His heart was filled with anger. All of his foundations surged. Su Yin transformed into a terrifying god-fiend. He wanted to kill all the elites of the sovereign race. Dong! Su Yin's palm formed a fist seal. Lightning filled the sky, destroying the order of the laws of heaven and earth and crushing the order of the sovereigns. The moment his fist was extremely close to burning and released to his heart's content. Then there was no more then. Everything exploded. Human lives were like grass, and the sovereigns fell from the sky. The sky was filled with corpses, broken bones, flesh. Su Yan's killing intent covered the sky and earth. He was so terrifying that it almost made his peers tremble. He stepped on the leading experts and swept through tens of thousands of enemies. He glanced sideways at the Thunder Immortal Emperor and roared, "Thunder Immortal Emperor, I will fight the first battle with the sky-opening lightning scripture. Please enlighten me." Chapter 2048. Su Yan's messy black hair danced in the wind as he stomped on the leader of the army. The whole world was filled with blood and broken bones. He swept through thousands of enemies, and his whole body was covered in lightning. He was like a dragon and a tiger in the sea of blood. In a world filled with the smell of blood, the entire imperial city was in an uproar. The army of thousands of emperors was directly swept away by Su Yin. Moreover, the sky-opening lightning scripture that he released drew out a terrifying lightning abyss and lightning that covered the sky. Su Yan's words resounded throughout the imperial city and shocked the experts of the various sections. Sky-opening lightning scripture. Su Yin actually mastered the sky-opening lightning scripture. This was a peerless heavenly technique that belonged to the Thunder Immortal Monarch's lineage. No inheritance was leaked, and no scripture was leaked. But now, Su Yin announced to the world that he was going to win the first battle with the sky-opening lightning scripture. How is this possible? How can Su Yin master the sky-opening lightning scripture? The experts of the Tenrai of Beach were terrified. Even the Thunder Immortal Monarch was completely dumbfounded. His body was faintly trembling. Isn't this too ridiculous? The inheritance that he was so proud of had been learned by Su Yin long ago. Moreover, he had started a massacre on the imperial battlefield. Bastard! The Thunder Immortal Monarch roared, and his eyes widened in anger. He could see that the sky-opening lightning scripture that Su Yin mastered was definitely the most orthodox inheritance. However, compared to Su Yan's brilliant and undefeatable combat strength, this scripture was really terrifying. This was a great humiliation. The Thunder Immortal Monarch's eyes widened in anger. He almost couldn't control himself and wanted to kill Su Yin directly. As for the Starry Sky Emperor, his face was extremely ugly. Su Yin had directly killed thousands of emperors. This made him almost bleed in his heart. These were the elites of the Starry Sky Emperor race. If they couldn't kill Su Yin, this would be a great blow to their race. If they died, their reputation would be ruined. At that time, they would lose terribly. Kill! The Starry Sky Emperor waved his hand, and the emperors of the Starry Sky Emperor race in the sky roared. There were still 90,000 emperors here, and the 9 leading experts were all revived in an instant. Boom! Even the heavens were torn apart. Surging god power tore through the heavens, pressing down on the stars in the sky. It was as if the heavenly army had descended to the mortal world, causing the Emperor battlefield to be filled with killing intent. The Milky Way from the heavens rolled down, terrifying as if it was the end of the world. Kill! Countless soldiers charged over, an incomparably ferocious formation. The 90,000 Emperor Dao soldiers roared, shaking heaven and earth. One after another, the leading generals charged over, activating their race's ancient heavenly arts, deriving all kinds of great divine abilities, suppressing Su Yin. This was extremely terrifying, enough to make experts of the same generation feel despair. Who could resist this type of supreme killing trap? This was an army of 90,000 Emperor Dao soldiers. In the instant they joined forces and resonated with the source of divine force within their bodies, the heavens collapsed and the earth split apart. Gods wept and ghosts wept. It was as if the end of the universe had arrived, and they wanted to tear apart the entire battlefield and destroy all matter. When Su Yin was engulfed by all of this, some people felt that it was over. Everything was over. No matter how terrifying the Emperor domain was, it was impossible to break such a peerless formation. Some taboo experts felt that even if they fell into it, their bodies and souls would be destroyed in a single move. Long Daesung let out a low roar, and his golden beast eyes noticed that in the destructive energy field, a figure suddenly soared up. Boundless blazing, as if an endless sun was burning, emitting resplendent divine light that overflowed into the heavens. Roar! Su Yin roared into the sky, and dragons and tigers roared in his body. Lightning flashed and thunder rumbled. In this grand killing trap, the sky was filled with killing intent, and the gods and devils were terrified of death. A figure rose from the ground, and his roar shook the heavens. His aura became much more terrifying, as if he had transformed into a taboo war immortal, capable of penetrating the heavens and penetrating the earth, dominating the 9 heavens. Su Yin stepped on the desolate land, and his roar shook the heavens. He had never been so crazy and never been so domineering. The killing trap collapsed. Countless soldiers were trembling, and their primordial spirits seemed to be on the verge of death. In an instant, Su Yan's sea of consciousness shone with golden light, and the taboo primordial spirit fluctuations that filled the sky covered Su Yan's flesh shell. In an instant, his pores gushed with qi and blood, shaking the heavens and the earth, and sweeping through the titled Emperor battlefield. The golden qi and blood that filled the sky was dense and terrifying, and carried with it a taboo might. Accompanied by billions of lightning, the entire world was undulating and trembling, and a large number of soldiers exploded. Kill! Su Yin roared, and looked down on everything, as if he was going to sweep through everything. A leading general despaired. His body was grabbed by Su Yin, and he was thrown forward. At this moment, Su Yin had completely shown what it meant to have the strength to uproot rivers and mountains, what it meant to have matchless combat strength, and what it meant to be invincible. Hundreds and thousands of soldiers screamed as they were sent flying by the human-shaped killing machine that Su Yin had thrown out. A bloody path was opened in this terrifying killing trap. Boom! Su Yin swung his fist, and his powerful and domineering willpower welcomed a great explosion. It was as if a terrifying emperor was looking down on all living beings in the heavens, looking down on all Daos in the heavens. From this moment onwards, the imperial city fell silent. His peers were trembling, and the taboo creatures felt despair. Su Yin had transformed into a terrifying young emperor. His fist seals suppressed the world, and lightning bolts that filled the sky fell to the ground. What imperial Dao order? What heaven and earth Dao law? In front of Su Yan's peerless combat strength, they were like pieces of paper that trembled chaotically. Every time he threw out a punch, hundreds and thousands of soldiers would be sent flying. Countless people would explode. In the world of surging blood, Su Yin was bathed in blood and went crazy. The killing intent emanating from his body was as if he had drunk on hundreds of millions of lives and swept through all enemies. He killed until the heavens collapsed and the earth cracked. He killed until corpses piled up and blood flowed into the sea. He killed until all living beings were in despair. In the sealed battlefield, a sea of blood flowed. Emperors fell from the sky and smashed into the purgatory of lightning. Su Yan became more and more crazy as he fought. His moves were grand, and he rampaged through the entire battlefield. There were also vast seas of stars that bombarded Su Yan's body. However, how valiant was Su Yan? He was fully deserving of the title of Imperial War God. Suddenly, he fought until he was covered in wounds. Suddenly, he fought until the heavens fell and the earth cracked. However, he was still able to continuously erupt with the most powerful combat strength. During this process, many soldiers were terrified. They felt that the energy in their bodies was declining and drying up. This was the eruption of the heaven's stealing art. It stole the divine power of all living beings in the world to ensure Su Yan's undying combat strength. He was always at his peak state, and he swept through everything. Kill. Invincible bravery. Outside the imperial city, the endless army roared. Every one of them was boiling with anger, and their roars caused everything in the world to tremble. All of you shut up. Starry Sky Emperor's eyes were almost bleeding. He screamed, "Are you still the army of the immortal world?" Phoenix King's eyes were about to pop out of their sockets. He roared, "Su Yan, 3 victories in 3 battles on the immortal demon battlefield. He brought great fortune to the immortal world, yet he is being treated like this by you all. The heavens will not tolerate this." This roar spoke the thoughts of many people. Unfortunately, all of this could not be reversed. None of it could be reversed. Su Yan went on a killing spree without showing any mercy. The entire battlefield was filled with blood. The number of fallen experts was simply uncountable. Everything could no longer go back. Nothing could go back. Today, either Su Yan died in battle, or the monarch races bowed their heads. Who else? As Su Yan roared, the world resounded with the sound of billions of thunder. It was as if he had touched the heavens, and the strongest judgment descended. Along the way, a large number of experts who were struggling in pools of blood exploded. Su Yan was covered in blood, and his ferocious aura was vast. He was even more frightening than the Demon Lord. He was like an unparalleled heavenly sovereign walking on the imperial battlefield. The heroes retreated. The surviving monarch race experts in the starry sky retreated in large numbers. Some were already scared out of their wits, and their hearts were filled with despair and fear. Who could compete with him? Or emperors in front of Su Yan? Su Yan, who was at the peak of the 8th heaven, did not need any external help to reverse the battle and attack a forbidden expert. Boom! The light of thunder rose from Su Yan's back. Bolts of lightning were born one after another. They were thick and shocking, and contained the great profundities of the heavenly thunder Tao. They swept forward endlessly. How can his foundation be so terrifying? His primordial spirit broke through the forbidden realm. How'd he do it? Some people trembled. From the beginning of the battle until now, Su Yan had encountered countless attacks. However, this did not affect Su Yan's peak battle strength at all. He could still continue to overflow. Pung, pung, pung. Along the way, the sea of stars was destroyed. The laws of order filled the sky, and no one could match Su Yan's might. He killed madly along the way, and his body whistled with thunder and lightning. Punch after punch, he killed his way into the retreating army. Retreat. The starry sky emperor's heart was dripping blood. In the end, he endured the humiliation and gave the order to retreat. If this continued, the army of 100,000 would be completely annihilated by Su Yan. These were 100,000 elites. The surviving experts felt as if they had been pardoned, and they all fled in defeat. Many people were scared silly. They had been defeated. The army of 100,000 joined forces to kill Su Yan, but they had been defeated in the end. Was this a dream? Countless people were terrified because Su Yan did not stop. He roared and killed his way over. The sky was filled with violent waves of thunder and lightning. Any one of them could tear apart the laws of heaven and earth. They were a terrifying threat to the lives of the emperors. Su Yan went on a killing spree. His entire body was bleeding. He was like a peerless overlord fighting in hell. He slaughtered large armies, and the corpses under his feet were like mountains. There was also a vast sea of blood that reached the sky. Some people in the imperial city could not help but vomit. The scene was too horrible to look at. It was even more tragic than purgatory in the mortal world. Crazy, someone roared. Su Yin had really gone crazy. He went on a killing spree. This battle was only for his dignity and for a breath of air. He did not run away like a pitiful worm. Although he could not achieve the might of the previous generations of the Celestial Court, when they slaughtered their way into the immortal world, he could use his own strength to sweep through his peers. Bloody light surged in the vast imperial city. Too many people's legs went soft. They had witnessed Su Yan's glory on the immortal demon battlefield, but they would never have imagined that he would go crazy and lead to a bloody disaster. Less than half of the Emperor race's army survived. Most of the elites had been killed. You're running away just like that? Su Yan faced the sky and laughed. Back then, he joined forces with the young emperor and 7 great immortal kings to force me into the Three Realms Mountain. Where did the courage go? Su Yan's entire body was suffused with bloody light. Beneath his feet were mountains of corpses and seas of blood. He was even more intimidating than a demon king. His words caused the entire world to tremble. The people of the world did not dare to believe what Su Yan had encountered in the Three Realms battlefield. They did not dare to believe the bloody truth of the space-time emperor's death. Some people roared. They did not understand why they were targeting Su Yan. Was it because he came from the lower realm? He was undoubtedly a war god. In the future, he would definitely be an invincible giant who could intimidate the dark world on the battlefield. Tens of millions of years ago, the humiliation of the Xian people's various clans was given to them by the Celestial Court. The Celestial Martial Emperor and the others could not watch as a rising star of the Celestial Court rose to power. Dispatch the elites to suppress and kill. Absolute Celestial Emperor was furious. If Su Yan really made the Imperial City bleed, the majestic Emperor race would lose all face. Chapter 2049. The Starry Sky Emperor's face turned cold. He had met a lunatic who was not afraid of death, and was not even afraid of monarchs. Moreover, Su Yan had enough prestige. The Starry Sky Emperor really wanted a curse. Young Emperor, this was all because of him. Otherwise, things would not have developed to such an irreversible stage. The Starry Sky Emperor race retreated. On the huge arena, bloodlight flowed. Su Yan was in the middle of it. He was like a bloodthirsty overlord who could devour everything. Thunder Immortal Emperor, what do you think of my sky opening thunder scripture? Su Yan's wounded body glowed as he absorbed the essence of heaven and earth to heal his wounds. His eyes flashed coldly as he stared at the Thunder Immortal Emperor and shouted, "Is there anything you need to teach me? Or you can have the experts of your bloodline step forward and stand on the battlefield to fight with me." Su Yan, your sins are unforgivable, the Thunder Immortal Emperor shouted angrily. Suddenly, a huge hand came out and pressed down on the large battlefield. "I'm standing right here. Can you kill me?" Su Yan's expression was cold. Blood kept flowing all over his body. No matter how terrifying the Thunder Immortal Emperor's aura was, once the large battlefield was opened, it was a world created by the strongest laws of the immortal world. It was very difficult to break through. "Unfortunately, you can't do it." Su Yan's body was cold. He said coldly, "The Tenrai of Beach will also become an emperor, right?" Asked him to come out. Disgusting bug who stole other people's fortune. In my eyes, he's not even comparable to a pile of shit. I can crush him with one hand. The Thunder Immortal Emperor's face was gloomy. He could not stop Su Yan from talking. This was the Imperial City. The experts of the various sects were looking at Su Yan with complicated feelings. "Since it's unfair, since you're trampling on my efforts," Su Yan shouted angrily, "all of you come at me. I want to become an emperor. Anyone who stops me will die." The sound of thunder resounded. The murderous roar was intense. The large battlefield had completely changed. It was filled with killing intent that made the Forbidden Realm tremble. It was filled with a will that made the immortal kings lose their composure. He was like a terrifying young emperor, his aura devouring the great universe, carrying the conviction of becoming an emperor. He was exceptionally terrifying. Xian Wei Huan stepped forward and shouted in a shrill voice, "A person from the lower realm dares to act so tyrannically in the immortal world's emperor city. Su Yin, you won't live for long. Come on then, let's see if you Xian people can stop me." Su Yin shouted loudly, "Your race has tried to kill me time and time again. What bullshit, monarch? You are just a bunch of narrow-minded people." "Bastard, shut up." Xian Wei Huan roared in rage. "You even dare to insult an emperor? You, Su Yin, are destined to die in Emperor City. I, Su Yin, am a righteous man with a clear conscience. Why would I be afraid of a bunch of crooks like you?" His eyes were opened angrily, and two balls of karmic flames burned within them. His disheveled black hair danced in the wind, and he was filled with a peerless, domineering aura as he overlooked the entire city. Boom! Zhu Tiandi waved his hand, and the troops of the reincarnation imperial race rushed out in unison. Moreover, they were led by the core members of the reincarnation imperial race. Their formation was even more shocking than the Starry Sky imperial race's army. There were more than 100 peerless nobles leading the army, and even the Sky Tyrant Lord was among them. Following Zhu Tiandi's order, the reincarnation imperial race's army of 100,000 moved out like a flood that could destroy the world. Moreover, their footsteps were uniform, and the entire city rumbled as they trampled. Terrifying qi and blood filled the air. 100,000 emperors moved out, and they possessed the heavenly might of an imperial race. They were the elites of the reincarnation imperial race, and they were filled with boundless cold, killing intent. Su Yin, you should have left this place, but you chose to die. The Sky Tyrant Lord's body was tall and sturdy, and the vertical eye between his eyebrows emitted cold, killing intent. He shouted, "Your death won't affect the immortal world. You're just an overlord of the human world. If you die, so be it. The immortal world won't remember you." The army of 100,000 charged towards the battlefield. The Sky Tyrant Lord was definitely an expert among experts. His body was tall and sturdy, and he was a famous genius of the older generation in the immortal world. "I don't need the world to remember me. I just want your imperial race's army to die. Are you satisfied with my response?" Su Yan's body emitted killing intent, and his pores surged with killing intent. His words were bone-chilling, and it shook the entire world, reverberating in everyone's ears. The Sky Force King roared, and his chest heaved up and down violently. Su Yin already hated the imperial race to the extreme, and only by killing them could he quell the anger in his heart. "Everything can't go back, it can't go back. Shameless thing, let's see how long you can last. Kill!" The Sky Tyrant Lord roared, and so did the reincarnation imperial race's army of 100,000. Su Yan's words were too arrogant and domineering, and in an instant, everyone released their boundless qi and blood and billowed up into the sky like billowing smoke signals. Boom! In the world of the titled Monarch battlefield, mountains crumbled and tsunamis roared. The entire battlefield trembled, and 100,000 emperors instantly erupted with power, forming an unparalleled force field. With the lesson learned from the defeat of the imperial race in Starry Sky, the current reincarnation imperial race's army of 100,000 moved in unison, and they closed in on Su Yin one step after another. Every step they took caused the sky to tremble endlessly. Waves of killing intent surged like an ocean, and they enveloped Su Yin layer after layer. It was as though the sea of reincarnation was expanding, and it was about to cover the entire battlefield. Who could match it? Who could contend against it? How could this battle be resolved? 100,000 troops came from a single race, and none of them had ever encountered such a ridiculous obstruction. Even the peerless geniuses who lasted for a few days in the sealed battlefield had never encountered such a ridiculous situation. Boom! Billowing waves of energy swept downwards, blotting out space and time, and boundless pressure bore down on Su Yan's body. Su Yan's body trembled, and the terrifying pressure enveloped him. His flesh and blood felt like it was about to explode, and thick blood spurted out from his pores. He was about to be defeated in an instant. Su Yin, Bamboo Moon cried bitterly, and her starry eyes were red. She was already extremely weak, and now she had no strength left in her body. Long Daesong roared manically, and thick energy essence gushed out from his mouth and nose, flowing into Bamboo Moon's body. Bamboo Moon, you should leave. Fairy Xia was extremely worried about her body, and she requested Bamboo Moon to leave. This calamity was too great, and once Su Yin was defeated, she was worried that Bamboo Moon wouldn't be able to withstand it. You can't leave, Tai Baokai roared. The imperial city's surroundings were all sealed, and with the Emperor Dao's order, no one could leave, no one could. If this battle didn't end, no one could leave the imperial city, unless Su Yin could be crowned emperor and trigger a great blessing from the celestial world. But was there really any hope? The Xian people definitely wouldn't allow Su Yin to be crowned emperor. This battle had to last for 9 days and 9 nights, and Su Yin would face countless enemies. This was the toughest battle of his life. Either he survived and became emperor, or he died. One hit, one kill. 100,000 Emperor Dao soldiers roared, and the aura they emitted rose again. The combined energy of resonance covered the sky and covered the earth as they attacked Su Yin. Boom! Su Yin's body roared like dragons and tigers, and his body's avatar was terrifying. It was boundless, as if it had turned into a real universe, reflecting the mountains, rivers, and stars of the universe. It was so grand that it could sweep across the imperial battlefield. However, even if Su Yan's Dharma idol was at its pinnacle in magnificence, the resonance of 100,000 emperors could not be stopped by the scriptures he had cultivated. The universe was about to explode, and even Su Yan's life was about to be destroyed. Su Yan roared. His body was in pain, but no matter how uncomfortable it was, it couldn't compare to the anger in his heart. Ridiculous! Xian Weihuan sneered. He had made a mistake in the first battle, but this battle was different. As long as 100,000 emperors joined forces to suppress Su Yin, he wouldn't be able to hold on. Even if he could, he would be exhausted alive. Su Yin roared. His body was bleeding, but his spiritual will was strong and domineering. He was like a demon god trapped in purgatory. His flesh was stained with blood, and endless tyrannical profoundness seeped out, slowly forming a bloody immortal sword that tore the sky apart. Everyone could see that this was the supreme technique Su Yin used to break the realm void path. Su Yin, who was in the forbidden state of his primordial spirit, once again used this unparalleled divine power. His entire body seemed to have turned into a blood-colored sword embryo, spewing out supreme killing order and flowing with fluctuations that could destroy all immortals in the world. One sword to cut the era. An angry roar echoed in the imperial city, exploding in the ears of billions of living beings. It was a somewhat laughable scene. Back then, Su Yin represented the immortal world to fight the experts of the dark world to the death. Now, Su Yin wanted to use this unparalleled divine power to kill all the elites of the Emperor race. The unparalleled war god of the human world swallowed the universe, and his sword cut through time and space, wanting to open the river of eras. The moment the sword light slashed down, the vast purgatory world instantly collapsed. This sword was grand and domineering. This sword contained billions of strands of killing intent, wanting to crush all immortals in the world. This sword strike emitted a vast epic light of calamity. The space-time in the sky was shattered, and a huge rift was formed. The moment the domineering sword light swept out, the world was directly split apart, and the stars in the sky were shattered. Cut! Su Yin roared. The sword cut through time and space, as if it cut through the 9 heavens and 10 earths. Zhu Tiandi's face sank. This was a supreme mystery that only immortal kings could possess. Moreover, it was the one sword to cut the era in the Heaven Punishing series. The entire imperial battlefield collapsed, and the sword light surged like the sea. Puff, puff, the enemy troops were silently extinguished. Before they died, they didn't know how they died. That is, the Sky Tyrant Lord was terrified. A huge blood-colored sword light was unstoppable. No matter how terrifying the energy order formed by 100,000 emperors was, it couldn't block this sword. Kill! Su Yan roared. His flesh and blood burned fiercely, releasing the most domineering power that penetrated into the blood-colored sword light. It emitted an angry flame that could swallow the 9 heavens, forcefully opening the battlefield's time and space. The peerless sword was like the explosion of a blood-colored sun. The sword light that flowed out was so dazzling that it made people's eyes bleed. How is this possible? The gods trembled. The blood-colored sword light forcibly split open a huge bloody rift in the army of 100,000 reincarnation emperor race. It's broken. The cultivators in the world were stunned. The killing field formed by 100,000 emperors was split open by a Su Yan sword light. This was one of the ultimate trump cards that Su Yan used to turn the tables on the immortal devil battlefield. Some experts of the older generation trembled. They said that this was a supreme mystery that only immortal kings could possess, but Su Yan had long mastered it. Boom! The sky collapsed and the earth cracked. This sword was about to directly split open the emperor battlefield. It was so terrifying that it made people tremble. Thousands of soldiers screamed. Wherever the sword light slashed, tens of thousands of souls were disintegrated, giving birth to a vast blood-colored storm that wreaked havoc between heaven and earth. It was as if the heavens were crying blood. An extremely terrifying figure was bathed in blood, and his roar shook the mountains and rivers. The aftermath of the sword light that filled the sky surged out and landed on the army along the way. Groups of emperors were sent flying, and their bodies were cut open. It was like cutting through tofu. Kill! The Sky Tyrant Lord and the others were about to go crazy. In a short time, they also caught Su Yan's body that was greatly weakened. Groups of soldiers roared and charged towards Su Yan. Who dares to stop me? Su Yan let out a terrifying voice. In the bloody scene of soldiers that filled the sky, he roared towards the sky. All of you must die. He wanted to start a massacre and slaughter billions of lives. He wanted to become an emperor. Even if he died, he would have no regrets. Chapter 2050. Woo woo. Into the arch battlefield, a rain of blood poured down. The scene in this world was terrifying. The smell of blood surged and assailed the nose. It was as if purgatory had been completely opened. Killing intent, boundless killing intent. The aura of the battlefield was bone-chilling. It wanted to slaughter billions of lives and forge Su Yan's path to becoming the Arch. There were many corpses on the path to becoming the Arch. The Arch battlefield was a nightmare that no one could break through. Su Yan erupted with his most terrifying combat strength. He wanted to kill all the powerful enemies that blocked his path to becoming the Arch. He didn't show any mercy. He used his cruelest methods to fight a bloody battle. At first, everyone thought that Su Yan, who had erupted with his ultimate trump card, was facing a great decline. But what shocked the experts of the Arch City was that Su Yan's pores emitted a clear radiance. The blood that filled the sky melted and then turned into a surging energy source that rushed into Su Yan's body. The universe scripture circulated, refining the stolen human essence. Su Yan's aura rushed to the peak. He let out a loud roar, and the sky collapsed and the earth cracked. It was as if he was angrily rebuking the heavens. With a loud roar, the sky trembled. The emperors that pounced towards Su Yan exploded in unison. This scene was too terrifying. Su Yan's blood-stained black hair danced in the wind. It was so terrifying that even the taboo creatures didn't dare. His body seemed to have turned into a devil star. It was extremely terrifying. Kill! He roared angrily. His peak combat strength surged out. A divine axe formed from the order of laws appeared in his palm, and his figure soared towards the peak of the sky. The axe light split the sky. Slash, slash, slash. 3 killing saint techniques appeared one after another. Su Yan simply turned into a heaven-splitting overlord. He opened the path with the 3 axes and killed. The large battlefield overflowed with blood. This scene made the immortal king's hair stand on end. The sky was filled with corpses, and the ground was covered with broken bones and blood. It was as if doomsday had arrived. The elites of the Darch clan were falling. Boom! The terrifying axe light turned blood red, tearing apart the sky. Even if it was a peak emperor, even if it was a core expert of the Darch clan, once they encountered Su Yin, they would be completely in a purgatory of death. The core experts of the Emperor clan all cried out miserably, their bodies brushed by a streak of axe radiance, half of their bodies exploding. No matter how powerful their Dao technique order was, no matter how world-shocking the divine abilities they cultivated were, before Su Yin, they were insignificant like dust, only able to tremble and howl in grief. Kill! Su Yan's roar shook the bleeding sky, and the overflowing axe light swept out in all directions one after another, chopping towards the soldiers who were rushing towards him from all directions. The overflowing killing intent formed a huge vortex of destruction. Groups of soldiers began to fall to their deaths, smashing into the ground like a bloody meteor shower, poignant yet cruel. Su Yan's eyes blazed with killing intent. The boundless titled monarch battlefield was trembling. The elites of the reincarnation imperial race were reduced to mere foils. Following the roar of a heaven-splitting overlord, the heavens collapsed and the earth cracked, ghosts cried and gods howled. Boom! Blood flowed through the sky and the void collapsed. The soldiers of the reincarnation imperial family were all in despair. Who could compete with him? Who could match him? From the beginning until now, no one could last a round against Su Yin. He had already fought to the point of madness. His eyes were burning like torches, and he spat out 2 karmic fire lotuses, burning the blood-colored universe. In fact, as the netherworld karmic fire bloomed, the 3 disasters secret technique welcomed a huge explosion. The emperors trembled. Some of their primordial spirits gradually extinguished in despair. Some of their bodies were cut into pieces. This was an unparalleled primordial spirit attack. This was the primordial spirit power of a forbidden domain. How could they block it? In a short period of time, the reincarnation imperial race army suffered heavy casualties. Large groups of experts fell into a pool of blood. How can this be? How can this be? An old cultivator roared in grief, his eyes blood red. The number of people who died in the titled monarch battlefield was immeasurable. These were the elites of the Emperor clan, but they were killed by Su Yin, just like that, swept away by him. They felt heartache. The death of every Emperor clan elite made them feel grief and indignation. But when they saw the blood-soaked Su Yin, their hearts trembled even more. This was an Emperor war god that even the Emperor clans couldn't tolerate. On the other side, the Emperor clan members were bleeding. Many great sex experts were heartbroken. Someone roared, "Why?" Since they treated Su Yin so unfairly. With Su Yan's prestige, what is the point of being crowned emperor? Just give it to him. What kind of shameful words are you saying? Someone retorted, feeling great prejudice, saying coldly, Su Yin came from the human realm. He doesn't belong to the immortal realm. Our immortal realm's emperor title definitely cannot be given to him, or else we would be nurturing a tiger to invite calamity. Without Su Yan's sacrifice, how could there be such an overwhelming victory in the immortal devil battlefield? Someone retorted angrily, retorting, "If Empress appeared, I believe she would definitely be able to do it." There were others who shook their heads, saying coldly, "It's too late to say anything now. If Su Yin wants to be crowned emperor in this type of situation, the emperor clans won't agree. Even if he can fight, how long can he last?" In Emperor City, their standpoints were all different. There were some who supported Su Yin, others who had prejudice. This was especially the case with Su Yan's crazy slaughter, stirring up quite a few experts' fury. On the Emperor's sealed battlefield, karmic flames swept about, axe radiance flying everywhere. Su Yin had killed who knew how many people, his entire body drenched, body covered in blood. He carried the bleeding divine axe, walking on the bloody Emperor's sealed battlefield, killing a group with each step. Shameful. Absolute heavenly Emperor's face was cold. waving his hand, saying coldly, "Send out troops. He can't hold on for much longer. Send out troops to suppress and kill him." As soon as these words fell, a corner of the Emperor's sealed battlefield's world rumbled intensely. Group after group of troops rushed out, all of them surging with blood essence, dense killing intent, as if a group of terrifying gods and demons had walked onto the battlefield. The divine force that leaked out from before combined together, forming a destructive storm that pressed down on the battlefield. "Shameful! This is too impatient," Tai Baokai shouted angrily. The Reincarnation Emperor clan had sent out even stronger troops. They wanted to fight a war of attrition, exhausting Su Yan. These were the elites of the Reincarnation Emperor clan. Every one of them had experienced hundreds of battles. All of them had cold expressions, especially the group of generals in the lead. They were all gods and demons who had been on the battlefield for a long time, roaring through heaven and earth. All of them were famous generals of the 10 great battlefields. This kind of formation made everyone tremble in fear. There were even huge, ancient, strange beasts with dense armor, roaring in a low voice, intimidating everyone. Between heaven and earth, people shouted and horses neighed, killing intense surging. Phoenix King's face was gloomy. This was the Reincarnation Emperor Army's elite troops. No matter which battlefield they were sent to, they could cause a storm of blood, turning the situation around. Now, they had entered the Emperor's sealed battlefield to suppress and kill Su Yan. "Send out the troops," Absolute Celestial Emperor ordered. The 10,000 elite troops callously, the sound of their footsteps in unison, their speed increasing madly, crossing the blue dome of heaven with shocking speed, killing their way towards Su Yan. "Kill!" The roars of the 10,000 elite troops surged, one after another like gods and demons awakening, boundless blood and chi gushing out from their bodies, instantly merging into one, even outlining a huge reincarnation gate. This was a peerless suppression method. The Reincarnation Emperor Army's strategic divine ability. This was an extremely powerful trump card that could change the situation of the battlefield. How long? The huge and majestic Reincarnation Gate was covered in billions of law runes. The moment it burned fiercely, the aura surged out, causing the great stars in the outer realms to explode. One could imagine how terrifying it was. Su Yan, who was in the middle of a massacre, was suppressed by the Reincarnation Gate at lightning speed, the great Tao runes filling the sky like a sea raining down, giving birth to a terrifying, imprisoning power. Even this life and death reincarnation aura affected Su Yan's battle body, causing it to flicker on the verge of collapse. Su Yan was coughing up blood, his body on the verge of cracking, as if he was imprisoned. "Not good," East Demon shouted, his heart burning with anxiety. These were well-trained elite troops, as cold as the gods and demons of the heavens. The most elite troops of the Reincarnation Emperor family, extremely domineering, led by a series of famous generals and war kings. Roar! A gigantic, ancient, strange beast charged over like an armored torrent. It lifted its large black claw, which was like a huge mountain range, and tore at Su Yan's trembling body. "Suppress!" Tens of thousands of elite soldiers roared. The gate of reincarnation blazed brightly, causing the entire universe to darken. The law runes that flowed out became even more ferocious, forming a peerless and terrifying pressure on Su Yan. Reincarnation heaven punishing Tao. Su Yan roared, his body suddenly rumbling. He was like a peerless war god in the midst of reincarnation, his pores spewing out the radiance of reincarnation, accompanied by the power of 100 lives of reincarnation, forming an unimaginable influence. Reincarnation collided with reincarnation, Su Yan's pores spewing out the aura of the reincarnation heaven punishing Tao, causing heaven and earth to explode, causing the huge reincarnation gate to tremble, as if it was about to completely disintegrate with Su Yan's fury. Boom! Su Yan waved his fist at lightning speed, punching forward. This enormous, prehistoric, ferocious beast appeared to be extremely powerful. However, Su Yan's fist was extremely domineering. It exploded with just one blow, and it was blasted apart. Oh my God! Everyone screamed in horror. The 10,000 elite troops unleashed a strategic super remarkable power, but they couldn't suppress Su Yan. Instead, he broke free from part of the battle formation and diverted some of his strength to kill a war beast. Clang! In the next moment, everyone was scared. A famous general also followed behind, swinging a halberd formed by the Order of Laws and smashing it firmly on Su Yan's spine. Su Yan roared. His spine felt as if it was about to break. However, his body shone, and it was extremely powerful. No matter how powerful the halberd was, it couldn't break through Su Yan's body. After all, it was covered by the forbidden primordial spirit. What? The famous general who attacked turned pale with fright, feeling that the terrifying Devil Lord was going crazy. His body emitted a terrifying rebound force, and it broke the halberd. Su Yan let out a loud roar, and he became even more ferocious. The dazed reincarnation imperial family general trembled, and his body suddenly disintegrated, exploding into a rain of blood-colored light. This was very terrifying. A famous general of the reincarnation imperial family was crushed by Su Yan's roar, and it was even under the suppression of the reincarnation gate. The 10,000 elite troops roared in anger, and their killing intent surged. The reincarnation gate that they created seemed to be burning, and it crushed towards Su Yan's bloody body. Boom! The dilapidated world trembled violently, and the huge reincarnation gate swayed. This was not stable, and it was about to be overturned by an incomparable force. An extremely majestic space-time aura, accompanied by the vast light of time, surged. Kill! Su Yan roared furiously at the sky, as if he had transformed into the young space-time emperor. His left hand grasped time, and his right hand grasped space-time. His left and right hands soared into the sky at the same time, and a majestic space-time Milky Way appeared. The air currents that gushed out caused the world to become extremely dark, as if an unparalleled Devil Lord was awakening from his slumber. Space-time Milky Way. Su Yan pushed his palms forward, and this river crashed into the reincarnation gate, causing the reincarnation gate to tremble. Soon, a huge black crack appeared. Open! Su Yan shouted coldly, and the reincarnation gate that was suspended above his body instantly disintegrated. PFFF, the 10,000 elite troops trembled, and they coughed out large mouthfuls of blood and were about to fall. They cried out in shock. What kind of devil king was this? What kind of absolute battle prowess was this? It was also like a resounding slap on Zhu Tian Emperor's face. Su Yan used the space-time Emperor's supreme divine ability to break through the dangerous situation. He killed his way out, and his eyes were scarlet red, shooting out streak after streak of cold lightning, forcing the descenders in front to feel their blood run cold, and they didn't dare to look straight at Su Yan's eyes. Bastard! Zhu Tian Emperor angrily rebuked. This child has already gone mad. Continue to dispatch troops for me. Kill Su Yan. So what if he has gone mad? Su Yan's blood-dyed black hair danced in the wind, and his eyes overflowed with killing intent. He roared, "Today, I will let the blood of the Emperor race flow through the entire Emperor city and pave my path to becoming an emperor." Author's note: readers say that the title of emperor needs to be written in 50 to 60 chapters. Rejected. Today, the title of emperor has appeared. Chapter 2051. The heavens and the earth trembled violently, and it was like a blood-red fiend had charged into the universe. Icy cold, killing intent flowed out from it, and the cruel words it spoke caused the expressions of all the supreme emperors who resided in the imperial city to turn gloomy. Great immortal elder, this is the disciple you've raised. The immortal emperor sneered. He's really going to rebel. Every time he kills one, the immortal realm will have one less mainstay. Why are the emperor family's troops going? The space-time emperor was shocked. Su Yan had already cultivated the space-time river. He said indifferently, "I'm no longer the great immortal elder of Immortal Academy. As I said, Anything that happens in the three realms has nothing to do with me. Bastard. Absolute Celestial Emperor was furious. Space-time Emperor, are you going to rebel against the immortal realm too? You can try. The Space-time Emperor's mood improved. He regained his composure and laughed. I'm alone. Whether I leave or not has nothing to do with you. Zhu Tiandi and the others had ugly expressions on their faces. Even the old Azure Dragon laughed. There's no explanation for the Space-time Emperor's death. This old dragon is really worried that I'll be killed one day. Since this organization doesn't live up to its name, I think this old man should withdraw as well. What are you doing? The Thunder Immortal Emperor was furious. For Su Yin, for someone from the lower realms, the Immortal Elders in Immortal Cave were dumbfounded. If the Great Immortal Elder and Deans will quit, would the Immortal Academy still be the Immortal Academy? The world was going to change. The strongest organization in the immortal realm was going to be disbanded. Su Yin, it's all because of you. Xian Weihuan roared. You even said that the blood of the Emperor family will flow in Imperial City. Do you really think you can defy the heavens? In the blood-stained battlefield of Emperor Road, Su Yan's eyes flashed with murderous intent. He laughed wildly. So far, a young emperor who's worse than a dog hasn't even stood out to explain. Wait until I'm done with the Emperor family. Then I'll kill the Xian people's army. The world trembled. Was he a war god or a demon lord? The storm in Imperial City. Where did the young emperor go? If Xiao Di really didn't do it, why didn't he dare to say anything? The young emperor still hadn't shown up. The immortal martial emperor didn't say a word, and the Imperial City was completely sealed. The heavenly river of time and space surged to the sky and covered the entire titled Emperor battlefield. All living beings fell into the boundless space-time and were eroded by the endless passage of time. Countless rulers roared. They were growing old. They even sensed a terrifying power of deprivation, causing their blood and qi to dry up. Their bodies felt like they were about to break apart. The karmic fire burned the sky, and the axe light was like the sea. Emperors were wailing. Nobles were going crazy, and generals were roaring. The titled Emperor battlefield was like a living hell. Although the Sky Tyrant Emperor and the others could barely hold on, they were truly terrified. Su Yin was like a demon god that had its shackles severed. His roar shook the bleeding heavens. His slightly weakened body continued to erupt with terrifying battle prowess. He was like a peerless monster that pounced over and slaughtered the scattered army. He's too strong. Who can compete with him? Such a terrifying god of war was forced away by the Emperor clan. Why? Why? Isn't this forcing Su Yin to rebel? I really hope that time can start all over again. If it can start all over again, why didn't the young emperor come out and say something? I still don't believe that the young emperor would do such a thing. Many people cried out in grief. Su Yin was risking his life on the Emperor Road battlefield. History was so similar. Back then, Su Yin fought the Dark World on the immortal demon battlefield and was known as the Imperial Prince God of War. Now, the Imperial Prince God of War stood on the titled Emperor battlefield and slaughtered all the Emperor clan elites. Boom! Su Yan's blood-stained hair was draped over his shoulders, dripping blood as he pushed his way forward. He seemed to be tireless as he slaughtered his way to the nine heavens. He fought his enemies, blooming in blood and awakening in destruction. He was still so glorious and invincible, bloody and cruel. Kill! Those who stand in my way shall die. Su Yin roared. Heaven and earth resonated, and ripples rolled out like millions of tsunamis. The supreme dragon wrestling technique erupted. His flesh and blood boiled with golden essence blood as he charged forward. He was brave and invincible. His moves were grand as he attacked fiercely. Puffed. The sky was filled with corpses and bones. They were all the battle bodies of the emperors. No one could stop Su Yin. So what if they were the Emperor clan elites? Su Yan's eyes were blood red. He had completely turned into a demon. Heaven and earth trembled as the corpses piled up like a mountain. Roar! Roars exploded. A group of core experts of the Reincarnation Emperor clan joined forces and charged forward. The vertical eyes between their eyebrows opened one after another, releasing the light of reincarnation calamity. They contained the power of imprisonment and wanted to restrain Su Yan's body, forcefully trapping him. A bunch of trash. Get lost. Su Yan waved his hand and released a saber light, splitting the entire world of reincarnation. It revealed the energy field of reincarnation and suddenly swept forward. Reincarnation Heaven Punishing Tao. This slap was like the hand of the heavens. It contained 100 reincarnations. It covered the sky and slapped a large number of core experts of the Reincarnation Emperor clan to death. Su Yan walked in the pool of blood and stepped on the corpses that were struggling in pain. His eyes shot out extremely cold, murderous intent and landed on the Sky Tyrant Lord's body. Su Yan, you've turned into a demon. The Sky Tyrant Lord's head almost exploded. The moment Su Yan looked at him, he felt that the shadow of death had begun to endlessly envelop him. This made the Sky Tyrant Lord feel powerless. It was as if he saw a ruthless emperor who was about to judge him. Clown, get over here and accept your death. Su Yan roared angrily. The sky collapsed and the earth cracked. The vast light of chi and blood whistled out from the top of his head and rushed to the top of the sky with a boom. It formed the order of the universe. The moment it bloomed, the sky trembled. The heroes exploded. This was a source of power that was close to destroying the world. Su Yan's cosmic form was shocking. It emitted waves of terrifying aura that suddenly pressed down. Kill! The Sky Tyrant Lord roared angrily. He used all his strength to block Su Yan's cosmic form. This person's strength was undeniable. Unfortunately, he encountered Su Yan. No matter how strong he was, even if he awakened the Emperor blood in his body, it was useless. Su Yan's cosmic form was extremely grand. It was not only suppressing him. All the experts in the area were terrified. This was a boundless universe. Moreover, a supreme figure stood in the core area. It was like a supreme emperor. No, the group of emperors cried out in despair. The world was filled with the order of the destruction order. It crushed their bodies and exploded into bloody light. Their bodies and souls were destroyed. Roar! The Sky Tyrant Lord roared and struggled with all his might. He wanted to kill his way out. However, it was useless. His body was torn apart. He let out a heart-wrenching cry. In the end, he exploded into a rain of energy. The Sky Tyrant Lord died. A series of core members of the Reincarnation Emperor family also started to die in battle. Su Yan's might shook the world. He was so terrifying that he was undefeatable. He emitted a suffocating and despairing aura. A large number of experts felt their legs go soft. They were about to lose their will to fight. So what if they were the elites of the Reincarnation Emperor family? When facing an undefeatable existence, they could only despair. They even doubted if the Reincarnation Emperor family could really kill Su Yan even if they continued to send more troops. After all, there was a limit to the number of experts in the Imperial battlefield. The maximum number of experts could not exceed 100,000. It was also at this time that a large number of experts from the Reincarnation Emperor family entered the battlefield. This time, there were even more core members of the Reincarnation Emperor family. Hundreds and thousands of them charged out. They released their strongest battle strength the moment they erupted. Boom! Su Yan clenched his fist, causing the void to tremble. His invincible aura covered the sky and covered the earth. The experts who charged towards him trembled and coughed out large mouthfuls of blood. It was as if they were about to explode. Let's see how much God power you can use. Someone cried out miserably. He wanted to unite the troops whose morale had been greatly reduced. Once again, they gathered together to suppress Su Yan. A cold bolt of lightning shot out from Su Yan's eyes. It was entwined with 2 layers of raging flames. In an instant, it flew into the forehead of the cultivator who spoke. It caused his primordial spirit to melt. Even his flesh and blood silently evaporated. Kill! Groups of enemy troops charged over. They did not believe that they could not suppress Su Yan's ferocious might. The world was filled with a bloody storm. The various Emperor family elites activated their great divine abilities. Some of them activated their emperor blood. There were also many who inscribed law runes. Almost 100 core members of the emperor family joined forces. Their combat strength was extremely terrifying. The world was filled with the manifestation of primordial phenomena. They could easily sweep away the experts of the same generation. They were even accompanied by an endless army. However, no matter how powerful the killing storm formed by these people joining forces was, Su Yin was still invincible. He was unstoppable among his peers. He was like a human-shaped Tyrannosaurus. His roar shook the starry sky. He released a series of great divine abilities. His foundation that was enough to be invincible burned with a rumble. It formed a destructive storm that filled the sky. It continuously attacked the experts who charged over. You want to exhaust me by taking turns to fight me? You're dreaming. At this moment, Su Yan's eyes burned with killing intent. The god power in his body was endless. No matter how terrifying the pressure in front of him was, Su Yan's fist seals were unparalleled. Punch after punch, he punched the world in front of him until bloody holes appeared one after another. Every fist seal would at least affect a large number of soldiers. Once they were touched by Su Yan's domineering power, they would either die or be injured. Everyone gradually discovered that ordinary soldiers were useless against an invincible expert like Su Yan. Even the elites of the Emperor family couldn't do it. Unless the core members of the Emperor family attacked with an army of 100,000. Su Yan's foundation is too terrifying. He has fought for so long, but he hasn't weakened at all. What kind of secret technique does he have? But devouring the blood essence of experts to recover. Is he really not afraid of his foundation being messed up? Even the Celestial Kings found it hard to believe. How did Su Yan do it? The Emperor family didn't give him any time to catch his breath. However, Su Yan had always maintained his strongest battle prowess. He used the stealing heaven technique to steal the essence of the dead soldiers in the sky to replenish himself. He always maintained his peak state. Suddenly, his battle body was covered in scars, but he was still extremely domineering. He attacked in a world full of corpses, killing to his heart's content. Absolute Heavenly Emperor's eyes were even red. He said angrily, "Send out the troops? I don't believe my clan can't beat him to death." Reincarnation Emperor family's troops became more and more powerful. A series of Emperor family core experts entered the battlefield one after another. Heavens! The deities cried out loudly. This was completely gathering the strength of the core members of the Emperor family, joining hands to kill one person. Reincarnation Emperor family has gone mad. It would be strange if they didn't go mad. If Reincarnation Emperor family's great army can't suppress Su Yan, how can they still have the face to call themselves an Emperor family? The bystanders were all numb. However, this time, Reincarnation Emperor family's lineup was too world-shocking. They didn't believe they couldn't suppress Su Yan. How long? Heaven and earth trembled. This entire region was burning fiercely. The aura was terrifying to the point where it made everyone tremble. This was an exceptional suppressive situation. Another group of Emperor family heavenly geniuses slaughtered their way over. They activated their ancestral methods, ignited their emperor blood, and cooperated with their clan's powerful great army to crush Su Yan. Updated a little. Brothers, please get some monthly votes. Chapter 2052. The emperors roared. The members of the imperial clans fought with their lives on the line. On the bloody battlefield, the core experts of the Reincarnation Imperial clan erupted in large numbers. The blood essence in their bodies burned, gaining 120% of their combat strength. Moreover, the emperor blood in their bodies was continuously awakening. In the blink of an eye, the heavens exploded. Millions of reincarnation lights bloomed, so terrifying that the heavens and earth trembled. Kill! Everyone attacked at the same time. Ancestral arts filled the sky, drowning the battlefield and devouring the blood-soaked figure. Su Yan's expression changed slightly. The lineup of the Reincarnation Imperial clan was very top-notch. A large group of core members killed their way over. There were also many outstanding overlords in the past. Under their joint attack, the entire battlefield trembled violently. "Break for me!" Su Yan roared. The heaven-burying fist blasted out. Thick thunder and lightning whistled through his pores. The supreme dragon, seizing technique, also welcomed a great eruption. He instantly became extremely powerful. The radiance flowing from his body was like an exploding sun. It was so dazzling that it made people's eyes bleed. This area was completely destroyed. The laws of the world interweaved together, forming a land of death. Kill! The members of the Reincarnation Imperial clan, who joined forces to attack, went all out. They burned their foundations and released their life source. Hundreds and thousands of core members joined forces and fought with their lives on the line. All kinds of divine arts and calamity light bombarded down on Su Yan. They were risking their lives. This was a chaotic battle. The entire world was filled with terrifying, killing intent. Su Yan roared. His black hair fluttered in the wind. The blood essence in his body surged in all directions, unleashing terrifying combat strength. He attacked the enemies that were pouncing down from the sky. Bang, bang, bang. In the bloody world, Su Yan fought crazily. Every punch was filled with blood. He destroyed the attacks that were coming at him. The aura of the heaven-burying technique in his body surged unceasingly. The universe scripture was operating at its peak state. Suddenly, Su Yan's ferocious might was boundless. The vast universe scripture order appeared. Blood flowed from the mountains and rivers. Millions of corpses were lying on the ground. A sea of blood floated. It made him look like a supreme emperor. What scripture is this? Everyone's hearts trembled incomparably. Su Yan's magical projection was too grand, about to penetrate through millions and millions of li. The scriptures were unimaginably deep, and at the center of this region stood the supreme emperor's figure, overlooking the 9 heavens and 10 earths. Gradually, no matter how ferocious the killing divine ability was, it was extremely difficult to break the order of the universe scriptures. Roar! Su Yan's roar rolled out, his fists surging with an extremely tyrannical power. Punch after punch. Not only did he destroy the divine ability light that filled the sky, the terrifying fist force also pierced through, suppressing the monarch race members one after another until they trembled. Ah! Someone cried out miserably. Their bodies couldn't withstand the pressure and caved in. They even began to gradually collapse. Kill! Su Yan roared. His eyes were bloodshot, as if he was a supreme ruler looking down on Emperor Road. He roared furiously. I don't care how many of you come. Today, I'll kill all of you to my heart's content. Su Yan's flesh shell began to burn. The stealing heaven art seized the human body's great medicinal essence that scattered between heaven and earth. One had to know that the blood essence of the monarch race members contained strange great medicines that nourished Su Yan's body, making it terrifying beyond compare. How terrifying? Who can match him? Someone roared. The onlookers were all trembling. The sky was filled with corpses, one after another. These were the corpses of the core members of the monarch race falling, smashing into Su Yan's universe scriptures. They turned into dried corpses and exploded into ashes. He has already turned into a devil. These cruel methods caused the monarch race members to cry out in fear. If I become a devil, the monarch race will fall. Su Yan shouted coldly. The blood-soaked god of war struck the emperor battlefield. His pores whistled and filled the sky with destructive light, causing the entire battlefield to bleed incessantly. Bastard, send more troops. Absolute Celestial the Arch said coldly. Another large group of monarch race experts charged over. A world of killing that even taboo experts would tremble. Ancestral techniques filled the sky, burning fiercely, joining forces to suppress Su Yan. Send more troops. Absolute Celestial the Arch roared again. The entire battlefield simply went crazy. The heroes of the various eras of the reincarnation monarch race frequently appeared. This battle progressed to a white-hot climax, unprecedentedly terrifying. and monarch race joined forces with the most outstanding person of a cultivation secret realm to kill one person. Su Yin, you suddenly died in battle. You were the expert I respected the most. Barbarian God roared, losing control of his emotions. The invincible and undefeated war god encountered the most bitter battle. Even with the stealing heaven art that endlessly recovered, Su Yin faced the terrifying situation that filled the sky. The universe scripture's order was collapsing layer by layer. They all had terrifying power, suppressing Su Yan's flesh shell. In fact, if not for Su Yan's primordial spirit breaking into the taboo realm, it would be very difficult for him to hold on. Similarly, the taboo primordial spirit interweaved on Su Yan's flesh shell, operating an extremely tyrannical secret force, helping Su Yan resist the most fatal threat of death. However, despite this being the case, Su Yan still suffered heavy blows, fighting until his flesh broke apart, flesh flying everywhere, body covered in injuries. He can't hold on any longer, kill. Reincarnation monarch races experts roared. Their clan's younger generation's elite overlords practically all came. Could it be that they couldn't kill a single Su Yan? And monarch race's outstanding cultivator, working together to kill one person. Could it be that they couldn't do it? Kill. The world trembled, sun and moon destroyed. The battlefield's atmosphere became even more cruel, as if the great gates of hell were completely opened, the reincarnation tunnel fully opened, wishing to devour Su Yin in one go. Come, what do I, Su Yin, fear? Su Yin roared miserably, his body riddled with scars too horrible to endure. However, he still fought, still brandishing his fists. Boom! When the destructive power that was enough to destroy the world tore apart the universe's order, an unimaginable attack pressed down on Su Yan's flesh shell. In fact, to Su Yin, this kind of destructive destruction stimulated the full awakening of his body's potential. There was no way back, no way back. There was only killing, only bravely moving forward, killing a path of blood, ascending to the monarch realm. This was Su Yan's monstrous fighting spirit that was ignited by his anger. Ah! Su Yan roared, his blood-stained hair fluttering. In this apocalyptic catastrophe, the depths of his flesh shell steamed with an extremely profound aura. It was like a coiled imperial dragon that suddenly rose from the ground. Boom! The arch battlefield shook violently, boundless chi and blood surged. This was very terrifying, because the entire battlefield space-time was covered by golden chi and blood. What is that? Everyone trembled, unable to believe what they saw. He seems to be breaking through, an old cultivator roared sorrowfully. This was too laughable. Su Yin was still breaking through. Similar to the bitter battle with the black-clothed woman back then, Su Yin had stepped into the peak of the Saint Realm. However, at this moment, Su Yin had stepped into the peak of the Emperor Realm. The ninth heavenly emperor climbed up. Su Yan's roar shook the sea of stars. In this world where the sun and moon were destroyed, his body emitted the vast aura of the universe, flowing with the most powerful and domineering fluctuations. Su Yan's body was like the universe, opening a supreme path to heaven, suddenly giving birth to a supreme god, as if looking down on the 9 heavens and 10 lands. The initial bearing of the human emperor was blooming. The majestic figure of the Dharma manifestation that was tens of thousands of feet tall appeared, stepping on the primitive land, opening the universe's reincarnation and controlling the sun and moon. Su Yan's Dharma manifestation turned into a god that could split heaven and earth, wind, fire, thunder, and lightning, preaching the Tao to the world, the 9 forms stabilizing the world. Break! Su Yan roared. The figure behind him turned, grand and crowded the space. The universe scripture was truly completed for once, revealing the profundities of the beginning of heaven and earth. The Supreme Emperor opened up the primal chaos, as if transforming into a giant spirit of primal chaos, awakening in the universe, looking down on the world. The sky trembled, the starry sky rose and fell. The terrifying Dharma manifestation that filled the sky flowed with grand golden radiance, returning to Su Yan's flesh shell at the instant. A terrifying existence completed the establishment of the path of an expert, peerless and peerless. Boom! The chi and blood light gushed out from the top of his head, tearing the heavens apart, collapsing the sea of stars, majestic and shocking, simply covering the entire Emperor realm battlefield. How is this possible? Even the immortal kings trembled. This was an emperor. How could he form such a terrifying aura? Heaven and earth were about to collapse, possessing a forbidden aura. The murderous order that surged over completely exploded. The reincarnation Emperor clan's experts were all torn apart one after another. The group of experts were terrified. Every bit of chi and blood released from Su Yan's body was entwined with profound laws and order, as if a corner of the universe was crushing down on their bodies. They couldn't endure it, truly having their bodies and souls destroyed. They screamed miserably, but the chi and blood released from Su Yan's flesh body became even stronger. Millions and millions of strands of golden radiance, making this entire battlefield tremble with it. Su Yan transformed into a supreme emperor, grasping the order of the universe, looking down on the world of mortals. Wherever his gaze passed, countless enemy soldiers would tremble, almost kneeling on the ground in worship. What was this? Is he really a ruler? Chi and blood covered millions and millions of li, illuminating the sea of stars, divine might everywhere, crushing down on the hearts of all enemies. This was simply the howl of an invincible forbidden aura, causing the Emperor battlefield to tremble unceasingly. In the Emperor's city, the expressions of the experts of the various Emperor clans changed greatly, feeling intense unease and even fear. Su Yan was breaking through, stepping into the peak of the Emperor Dao domain. His body was incomparably terrifying. If this continued, the people of the world didn't dare to imagine how strong Su Yan would be, because some people felt that if it wasn't for the suppression of the Emperor battlefield, Su Yan would directly kill his way into the forbidden domain, shaking the world with his might. Roar! Su Yan roared towards the sky. A boundless, terrifying aura was released, and the emperors in the sky were all disintegrated. This scene was too terrifying, possessing a demonic nature. A peerless overlord had come out of seclusion, causing the entire world of the titled Emperor battlefield to tremble. Heaven, earth, 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 heaven. How is this possible? Xian Weihuan roared, his eyes trembling. This was Su Yan. The blood on the battlefield was destined to shake the celestial world. This was an unimaginable and world-shaking change. With a loud roar, the sovereigns in the sky collapsed and exploded in an instant along with Su Yan's vast and mighty aura of chi and blood. Crazy. This was an invincible and domineering combat strength that looked down on everything. Even Tai Baokai roared excitedly because he found a great auspicious sign descending from the sky. 9 days and 9 nights. Su Yan already had the qualifications to be crowned emperor, the qualifications to be recognized by the celestial world. Crowned emperor. He's going to be crowned emperor. East Demon was crazy with excitement. There was no need for 9 days and 9 nights. The current Su Yan could be crowned emperor directly. Roar. The space-time emperor roared, tears flowing down his old face. Su Yan was going to be crowned emperor, breaking the rules and completing the test, destined to shock the world. This indicated that Su Yan was too brilliant, sweeping through the battlefield, invincible in the same generation. Chapter 2053. Terrifying chi and blood filled the sky, golden and resplendent. Accompanied by the universe scripture's profundities, it instantly engulfed the entire battlefield. The heavens were destroyed, time and space collapsed. The world seemed to be heading towards its end. A peak emperor destroyed the world, causing the emperors to tremble. Su Yin completely changed, a golden figure overlooking the world, his entire body emitting boundless divine force, about to collapse the 9 heavens, open the forbidden gate, transform into a forbidden expert, his might shaking the celestial world. It was a peerless and terrifying scene. Su Yan's chi and blood whistled, instantly shaking the heavens and earth. Unbelievable! The creatures in Emperor's City cried out in shock. The scene was too shocking. Su Yin fiercely erupted, majestic and grand, suppressing the Emperor battlefield. This was simply heaven-defying combat strength. His body was like a great universe, looking down on Emperor's City. A series of experts from the Reincarnation Imperial clan were uniformly crushed. Even the powerful elites could only last for a few breaths of time before they exploded, shattered, destroyed. Roar! Su Yan's eyes were wide open. He arrived in an instant, rushing to the peak of the universe, shocking the past, present, and future. In an instant, the entire Emperor's City was filled with a sea of blood, surging fiercely. When Su Yin truly perfected his unrivaled great Tao, slaughtering his way to the strongest bloody path, his figure crossed the entire battlefield. Who could survive? This was simply an unrivaled giant, sweeping through the battlefield, annihilating the Reincarnation Imperial clan's army. Kill! Su Yin roared towards the sky, his eyes scarlet red, his body emitting boundless divine force, suppressing the experts in Emperor's City until they trembled. Large groups of people were about to self-destruct. It was very difficult for them to withstand Su Yan's unrivaled combat strength. Who else? Come up. I, Su Yin, will accompany you to the end. He roared, his hair disheveled, his entire body drenched in blood and sweat, minced flesh and shattered bones. This was truly an overlord of death that crawled out of purgatory. His roar shook the heavens, his words like millions of claps of thunder, blasting into everyone's hearts. Suddenly, the entire imperial city became silent, everyone's hair standing on end. Some people vomited, some cheered, some were silent, and some were shouting in rage. Shattered. The frenzied attacks of the Reincarnation Emperor tribe were all shattered by Su Yin. Su Yin had entered the Tao through killing. He had opened the door to the realm of experts. He could enter the forbidden realm anytime, anywhere. He could improve his Tao and foundation without limit. Ah! The group of old experts from the Reincarnation Imperial clan roared hysterically. Their hair was disheveled. They were even crazier than Su Yin. They roared until their hearts and livers were trembling. Blood was flowing out from their mouths and noses. They didn't dare to believe the scene on the battlefield. The ones who died were the elites of their clan. The mainstay of the Reincarnation Imperial race was severely injured. Corpses littered the ground. Blood flowed into the ocean. This was extremely terrifying and also extremely bloody. The Reincarnation Emperor clan couldn't hold on any longer, roaring into the heavens. They all died, not a single one of them surviving, all of them dead. Even absolute celestial Emperor's heart was bleeding. He really wanted to let out a loud roar. Now that Su Yin was killed, the hatred in his heart could be alleviated a little. Everything couldn't go back. The Reincarnation Imperial race suffered great losses once again. You demon, you will die a horrible death. An immortal king roared. The ones who died were all the strong armies of the celestial world. Ha ha! Su Yin faced the sky and laughed. His body was bathed in sweat, malevolent and cruel. He roared angrily. It doesn't matter if you are a demon or a war god. Today, even if I, Su Yin, die in Emperor's City, I will let the blood of the Reincarnation Imperial race flow through the entire Emperor's City. Boom! The space-time of Emperor's City trembled. The entire universe exploded. Emperors with terrifying auras appeared one after another. Their eyes shone with cold, killing intent. This was a divine might that was hard to resist, causing the countless living beings in Emperor's City to kneel on the ground. Groups of them started to tremble, but when they calmed down slightly, they suddenly raised their heads and looked at the sky. "What is that?" someone muttered. His expression was stiff, and he was a little dumbfounded. The universe of the celestial world was changing. This was the core of the celestial world. Once a great change happened, it would directly cause the entire celestial world to rumble. Dong, dong, dong. Billions of ancient worlds rumbled. The ancestral courts of various great orthodoxies shone. Countless treasure lands and Tao caves shone brilliantly. It was as if the great fortune of the celestial world was forming. The ancient antiques of various great sects, great ancient races, and great ancestral courts walked out in unison. They looked at the strange phenomenon in the sky and found the source. They immediately exclaimed, "The great fortune of the celestial world has awakened. The aura of fortune has appeared. Our celestial world is about to give birth to a titled great emperor." They asked the experts of their sects what exactly happened. Who exactly was crowned great emperor? But no one could answer them. They didn't know who exactly was crowned great emperor. Logically speaking, such a grand event would definitely sweep through the celestial world. On that day, countless factions would rush over to watch the ceremony. Space-time Emperor is dead. Bastard, who did it? Our world has won 3 out of 3 battles. Su Yin forced the Dark World to not dare to fight. The celestial world was in an uproar. After all, too many ancient antiques walked out of their sections. When they heard the news, their expressions changed drastically. The space-time Emperor had fallen, and the immortal devil battlefield was at its peak. The Dark World was forced to deny it, and thus launched a large-scale war. The target is the Imperial City. A big shot has been crowned Great Emperor in the Imperial City. Let's go quickly. This is the descent of great fortune. The ceremony is approaching. We will be baptized by the creation of heaven and earth. The celestial world was in an uproar. In a short period of time, countless space-time formations in the Imperial City were activated. This was a result that the great emperors didn't expect. This was a development that even absolute celestial emperor and the others couldn't stop. Su Yin was going to be crowned great emperor. How could this be? The Thunder Immortal Emperor's expression was incomparably ugly. Wasn't it supposed to be 9 days and 9 nights? Why did Su Yin arrive in advance? Could it be that he had obtained something from the celestial world's original will? This was the trend of the celestial world. The experts of the Xian people roared. How could he arrive in advance? They, the Xian people, still had a great army waiting in secret. How could he arrive in advance? In a short period of time, the experts who weren't too far away from the Imperial City rushed over in large batches. They came from various great sects and ancient races. There were even some great Emperor race members who rarely showed themselves. The instant they arrived at the Imperial City, they were all stupefied. The entire city was practically bleeding. The smell of blood assailed their nostrils. The group of old monsters' expressions changed greatly. They saw a sea of blood on the great Emperor battlefield. Corpses were piled up like mountains. Someone cried out in alarm. What happened? So much so that when they noticed Su Yin standing on the battlefield, they immediately cried out in alarm. Someone had become a great emperor in a single battle. This was a nightmare that no one had ever accomplished before. "Ooh, who is it?" An old monster cried out excitedly. Which race's expert was it? Was an invincible big shot going to sweep through everything in the celestial world? The Imperial City was in chaos. More and more people arrived. They were all shocked. The entire city was in heated discussion, triggering an unimaginable great storm. The old experts of various great races were alarmed. They found many things hard to believe and also felt a headache coming on. Rumble. Within the Imperial City, the sky was filled with a divine rain of light. Great Tao seeds were chanting the supreme sound of the great Tao. Dragons and phoenixes were auspicious. Purple energy surged. Auspicious beasts spat out the essence of heaven and earth. Their mouths were chanting the sound of the great Tao. They spat out auspicious colors. They swept towards the great emperor battlefield that was flowing with blood without end. This was an unparalleled great fortune. An emperor was crowned as great emperor. There was no precedent of this in the celestial world. Now, a living example was happening just like this. Moreover, essence energy surged within the imperial city, piercing through the heavens and tearing apart the universe. It made the outer space overflow with resplendent radiance. Bastard, someone in the celestial world is being crowned as great emperor. Who is it? Even here in the Three Realms battlefield, in the distant Dark World region, there were ancestor gods of this world who opened their eyes wide to observe. They could faintly see a corner of the boundless celestial world erupting with auspicious multicolored light. This was too terrifying. It had been a very long time since someone had ascended the great emperor throne in the celestial world. If a great emperor appeared in the celestial world, this wasn't a small matter. This would play a crucial role in the Dark World's upcoming attack. Crowned as Great Emperor, Su Yin has been crowned as Great Emperor. The Phoenix King and the others roared excitedly. A great auspicious sign descended from the heavens and swept through the billions of ancient worlds. In the Source region, golden lotuses of the Great Tao were everywhere. The peak of the sky spewed out endless auspicious multicolored light. Moreover, a heavy rain fell between heaven and earth. This wasn't ordinary rain. This was sweet dew. This was the essence of the celestial world's original source. Only when a great emperor was crowned would the sweet dew fall from the heavens and bless all living beings. When a man achieves the Tao, even his chickens and dogs will ascend to the heavens. Once the path to great emperor was opened and acknowledged by the celestial world's original will, the great fortune born between heaven and earth would bless all living beings in the imperial city. Of course, all of this paled in comparison to what Su Yin was facing now. The sweet dew that filled the sky seemed to be sprinkled on a dry desert. Su Yin instantly became much more resplendent. The god power in his body surged wildly. He felt that he had directly broken through the bottleneck of his realm and rushed into the forbidden region. He even saw the path of an immortal king blooming before him. He saw a path that led to the strongest and most domineering being blooming before him. I can't accept this. The Xian people haven't ascended the stage yet. Su Yin roared loudly. His ferocity didn't diminish. He wasn't like the current great emperor. He hadn't killed enough. The great army of the Xian people hadn't ascended the stage yet. The experts of the Xian people were mad with anger. Their hearts and lungs trembled as they roared hysterically. This was a great humiliation. In an instant, the entire sky was filled with an extremely grand aura. In a short period of time, the Celestial Martial Emperor, Absolute Celestial Emperor, and Thunder Immortal Emperor, these three supreme great emperors, recited the great Tao imperial scriptures. It was as if they had arrived at the peak of the celestial world. They berated heaven and earth, berated the celestial world's original source. It was as if they were berating the heavens. The Phoenix King roared angrily. They were stopping Su Yin from becoming the great emperor. They didn't want him to become the great emperor. Under the influence of the three great emperors, as expected, more than half of the auspicious signs that filled the sky dissipated. The path to becoming the great emperor was about to be cut off. Are you even reliable? You made me excited for nothing. It's been so many years. I really want to go back and take a look. At the same time, in the land of death, Three World Mountain, a group of experts who were exploring this area trembled. They were terrified from their souls. Who was speaking? Did you hear those words? The immortal kings found it hard to believe. They suddenly felt that there was a voice in the sky. The source seemed to be unimaginable. It seemed to come from beyond the heavens, from the boundless and deep nine heavens. I think I heard it. They were all uncertain. This was the Three-World Mountain after all. It was possible that there would be some abnormal evil here. I clearly sensed the aura of the immortal world just now. I saw a path to return. A supreme being whispered. It was like a huge beast standing at the end of the long river of history, looking down at the immortal world. But this path has suddenly become blurry. The noisy voice sounded very manic. However, it continued, "It doesn't seem to be a problem. I've roughly determined the coordinates just now. We can return. We won't get lost." What the hell? The group of experts near Three World Mountain trembled and shouted. They left with a mad roar because they felt that the words seemed to have come from above Three World Mountain. Could there be other civilizations beyond the heavens? Shameless bastards. A few great emperors cast their arts and intimidated the heavens who were writing. Thank you, brothers, for your monthly votes to strengthen my birth chart and tide through this calamity. The peak hasn't started yet. Don't move. Chapter 2054. The great fortune of the immortal world dimmed, as if it had been cut off. This kind of scene happened for the first time in the immortal world. Everyone was stupefied. Countless experts from different clans had gathered in the Emperor's city. They rushed over frantically, paying a huge price to open the world-crossing formation just to reach the Imperial City in a short time and receive the baptism of the great fortune. But now, supreme emperors appeared one after another, chanting sutras and emitting the Emperor's sealing mark. They affected the immortal world's vast origin aura and affected the great fortune formed by heaven and earth. They were all deducing. Roar! Tai Baokai was about to go crazy. Three emperors worked together and emitted the influence of the Emperor Fate, controlling the immortal world situation and not allowing Su Yin to be crowned emperor. The Phoenix King cried and laughed. He looked up at the sky and wanted to curse the heavens. Open your eyes and take a look. Blood flowed endlessly in the imperial city. Su Yin had brought great fortune to the immortal world and established great prestige. Although Su Yin was born in the human world, he represented the immortal world in the battle against the dark world and made great contributions to the immortal world. The Emperor's sealing battlefield was also destroyed by Su Yin. Why couldn't he be crowned emperor? Why? On the Emperor's sealing battlefield, bloodlight surged again. It was even more terrifying than purgatory in the human world and intimidated all living beings. A blazing figure stood in the middle, unparalleled in glory. He was laughing at the sky. His laughter was indescribably crazy. A great fortune had fallen from the heavens. He was about to step on the path to becoming emperor, but it was suddenly cut off. However, after the bath just now, Su Yin was even more powerful than before. He could tear the realm and enter the forbidden realm at any time. Of course, with Su Yan's current accumulation, once he broke through, it would be amazing. Even his primordial spirit had strengthened by a lot. This was too important. Su Yan's combat strength was even more powerful. Many people cried out in grief. They felt that it was unfair for Su Yin. He had been suppressed by the Emperor clans 3 times in a row. Now, they were brazenly trying to stop Su Yin from being conferred the title of emperor in front of everyone. Now that things had come to this, what else could they say? 3 supreme emperors, dominating the world, berating the universe's origin order, immediately scattered. Boom! At the same time, the imperial city howled with a terrifying radiance. The space-time emperor rose from the ground and let out a thunderous roar. Unparalleled Emperor Dao laws surged out, accompanied by a glorious light that had existed since ancient times, drowning out the universe. Space-time Emperor. Myriad spirits cried out in horror. Large batches of old antiques walked out of ancestral court in shock. Didn't they say that Space-time Emperor had fallen? Wasn't it destroyed under the joint attack of the 3 ancestral gods of the dark world? He's still alive. Too many people cried out in excitement. They still didn't know what was going on, but in short, the Space-time Emperor had awakened limitlessly and was emitting a powerful influence. He was trying to influence the fundamental order of the immortal world and make Su Yin an emperor in a single battle. The old Azure Dragon had also awakened. The true Dragon Emperor dominated the world, releasing its unrivaled dragon might. It chose to join forces with the Space-time Emperor to release a terrifying influence, helping Su Yin once more on the road to becoming an emperor. In just an instant, the 5 supreme martial monarchs above the monarch city clashed with one another. Oh my God! The entire immortal world seemed to be shaking. Billions of people cried out in shock. This scene was too shocking. The five martial monarchs had awakened and emitted the Emperor Dao laws, affecting the general situation of the immortal world. The auras of the Thunder Immortal Emperor, the Immortal Martial Emperor, and the Absolute Heaven Emperor became more and more shocking. They were like three supreme rulers of the immortal world, berating the fundamental order of the immortal world as if they were berating the heavens. The martial monarchs were talking about karma with the fundamental order of the immortal world. Su Yin came from the human world, so he couldn't become an emperor. Boom! The sky was filled with the chanting of sutras. The auras of the five martial monarchs swallowed the river of time. They were about to kill each other, forming a world-shaking storm that became stronger and stronger. The living beings in the heavens were trembling. The old antiques of the various great sects were also trembling. Some immortal kings couldn't help but kneel on the ground. The five martial monarchs were erupting. Who would dare to imagine such a lineup? Now it was happening. The aura of great fortune that filled the sky was faintly discernible. It was 2 against 3. Although the lineup was slightly inferior, the Space-Time Emperor and the Old Azure Dragon could both influence the fundamental will of the immortal world. At the next moment, everyone was terrified. Another supreme martial monarch descended upon the world. The monarch of the starry sky, Emperor Race, awakened. His body was incomparably huge, spewing out the light of the stars in the heavens, berating the fundamental aura of the immortal world. This was too terrifying. For martial monarchs joining hands, they could influence the flow of history. In the blink of an eye, the great fortune that filled the sky was about to completely dissipate. Everything would no longer exist. What's going on? What's going on? Countless experts were roaring. Once a martial monarch walked out from the immortal world, their might would shake the 3 realms. It would also incomparably intimidate the dark world. But why do they have to stop them? Why? Can't they leave a path for Su Yin? The old Azure Dragon's roar shook the heavens. The heavens fell into primal chaos, almost disappearing without a trace. Once it completely disappeared, then Su Yan's qualifications to become a martial monarch in a single battle would directly disappear. Even a martial monarch battlefield was becoming blurry. Then, everything Su Yan paid just now would also be mercilessly erased. One had to understand that even if Su Yin couldn't obtain the martial monarch's mandate, the great auspicious signs just now were enough for Su Yin to rise to the peak of the forbidden realm like lightning, even awakening towards the immortal king realm. Did they really think that the great fortune obtained from becoming a martial monarch in a single battle was a simple title? Directly obtaining the martial monarch's path, in the future, he would have to take less detours. Su Yin might very well climb to the ranks of martial monarchs in the future. Human world's experts don't have the qualifications to become martial monarchs in the immortal world. The immortal martial monarch's expression was cold. He towered in the universe, domineering under the heavens, as he said coldly, "A majestic martial monarch, do you not have any magnanimity at all?" The old Azure Dragon's roar shook the heavens, reverberating through the entire Emperor City. He angrily rebuked, "Su Yin has already established great fortune for the immortal world. Can't you leave a path for him? Haven't the martial monarch clans shed enough blood? It's enough to match up to Su Yan's great achievements." Absolute Heaven Emperor was filled with flames of anger as he roared. The resources of the immortal world are limited. The environment here is not as good as before. Now, it's getting harder and harder to become a martial monarch. What right does a human world's expert have to occupy the limited resources of the immortal world? Everyone knew that once one obtained the martial monarch's mandate, they could use the vast energy source of the immortal world to help them cultivate, grow, and enter the ranks of the peak. However, there was a saying that was correct. With the environment of the immortal world, one more martial monarch would be a burden to the immortal world. The environment of the immortal world was still not good enough. This is the general trend, the situation of the immortal world. Thunder Immortal Emperor said coldly. Su Yin rose up from the immortal world and was nurtured by the immortal cave. Everything he has is given by the immortal world. What the immortal world gave to Su Yin is his, but he can't forcefully take it. The four martial monarchs resonated together and released a terrifying martial monarch's mandate light that completely scattered the great fortune of the heavens. Eastern Demon roared. What bullshit immortal world nurtured Su Yin? Ever since Su Yin came to the immortal world, everything he had was earned by himself. What could the immortal cave give him? It was all given to Su Yin by the space-time emperor. The four martial monarchs announced to the world that Su Yin was not allowed to become a martial monarch, and that the source of the immortal world had retreated. Suddenly, Su Yin was terrifying. Even if he stepped into the martial monarch realm and comprehended the martial monarch Tao and formed in martial monarch physique, he cannot become a martial monarch in the immortal world. What a great general trend of the world, and a great general trend of the immortal world. Space-time Emperor roared in grief. For martial monarchs working together to suppress a junior, you guys are really shameless. Old Azure Dragon's heart was filled with bitterness. Today, even if they gathered a few more martial monarchs to open a path for Su Yin, Absolute Heaven Emperor's side would have more martial monarchs standing out. At this point, no one had a way out. The imperial city wailed. No one could say a word. The four martial monarchs working together had already pushed the general trend of the immortal world forward. This was the descent of a supreme will. Boom! Suddenly, the imperial city rumbled. Loud noises rang out. Countless people were stunned, seeing Su Yin punch the martial monarch steel, opening the martial monarch battlefield again. His entire body surged with bloody light, an invincible war god from the Earth domain, indomitable, roaring in the sky. Martial monarch race. Does anyone dare to fight me? Su Yin's voice rumbled, echoing in the entire city, exploding in the ears of all living beings. Heaven and earth rumbled, the entire world trembled. Su Yin still wanted to fight, as if he had turned into a peerless killing god, looking down on the world, roaring, martial monarch race. Does anyone dare to fight me? Bastard! The four martial monarchs were enraged, their auras suddenly becoming boundlessly terrifying. Do you really think that just because you're standing on the martial monarch battlefield, we can't kill you? The four martial monarchs worked together, charging towards the martial monarch battlefield, wanting to kill Su Yin. Some experts of the great sects roared in grief. Was there a need to do this? The martial monarchs wanted to kill Su Yin. The four martial monarchs worked together, not allowing Su Yin to fight again. Suddenly, the space-time emperor's figure appeared near the martial monarch battlefield. The Three Realms galaxy suddenly erupted to its strongest state. Even his flesh and blood began to burn fiercely. Space-time emperor, get out of the way! The four martial monarchs shouted angrily. If you want to kill Su Yin, sure. The space-time emperor sneered. Over my dead body, I also want to know if I can cripple one or two martial monarchs if I join forces with the Three Realms galaxy. The experts of the world roared madly. The space-time emperor's body was burning. This was very terrifying. The martial monarchs directly went all out, burning their martial monarch origin. Even the Three Realms galaxy began to awaken, instantly becoming peerlessly terrifying. The four martial monarchs' faces were gloomy to the extreme. The space-time emperor wanted to fight to the death with them. Great immortal elder, you have contributed so much to the immortal world. Could it be that you really want to completely fall out with us for Su Yin? The Starry Sky Emperor sighed. I said before, I am no longer the great immortal elder of the immortal old academy. The space-time emperor laughed angrily. I should have died. There are some words I don't want to say. It is too sad. Now Su Yin is fighting for me. This old man will say, whoever kills Su Yin today, I, the space-time emperor, will pay with my life. The Thunder Immortal Emperor was furious. He roared, Su Yin, even if you open the martial monarch battlefield again, you can't become a martial monarch. Go down. Do you want the space-time emperor to die? Just as you said, since the things of the immortal world are given to me by you, I can only have them. Su Yin sat down cross-legged. He said coldly, I really don't care about becoming a martial monarch. But today, I will let you all understand a principle. No matter how many people from your martial monarch clans come, no matter how strong your geniuses are, in front of me, Su Yin, they are just a pile of trash. Bastard. The four martial monarchs angrily shouted, affecting the scene of doomsday. The heavens seemed to be crying blood. Xian Weihuan was about to go crazy. The space-time emperor burned his martial monarch origin to protect Su Yin. If the other martial monarchs didn't dare to participate, what face would the martial monarchs have left? Wouldn't they have to admit that the entire martial monarch clans were inferior to a human world's equal heaven-sent king? It's just 9 days and 9 nights. Su Yin laughed heroically. I alone can intimidate the martial monarchs. This is enough for me to live a happy life. If he wants to die, then let me help him. The immortal martial monarch was furious. He roared, let a mortal monarch and the others come out, step into the emperor realm, kill Su Yin. Chapter 2055. In the grand emperor's city, on the glorious emperor's sealed battlefield, a single person intimidated the emperor clans, dominating the world. Su Yin truly accomplished this. Overlooking an emperor clan domain, his aura devouring the world, looking down on the various great emperor clans. His terror made everyone shiver with fear. Reincarnation emperor clans elites were all completely wiped out. In a massive emperor-sealed battlefield, there was only one person who sat cross-legged, towering between heaven and earth. No one felt like Su Yin was weak. No one felt like in the space-time where emperors overlooked the world, Su Yin lacked confidence. At this moment, his domineeringness truly overflowed into the heavens, intimidating the emperor clans. I hate this. These emperor clan experts cried out miserably. What else could they say? What else could they say? At this moment, all words were powerless. Only by defeating Su Yin could the emperor clan's reputation be vindicated. Otherwise, this would be the shadow of the various great emperor clans. Su Yin's blood would suddenly flow through the skies. His matchless vicious might also be passed down one era after another. There were emperor clan experts who smiled bitterly, feeling extremely disappointed inside. Their clans looked down on the immortal realm, always powerful. The Emperor Dao domain was the cornerstone of their clans. Even with an army of 100,000, they still couldn't kill Su Yin. This was a type of sorrow, a tremendous humiliation for the emperor clans. It was to the extent where under this type of humiliation, the four great emperors even joined hands to suppress Su Yin, not allowing him to become emperor. Is there really no one who dares to come? Su Yin frowned. He opened his eyes, saying with a cold laugh, I am truly worried that your emperor clans are scared, not daring to face me. The faces of the great emperor clan's members fell ashen, angered to the point where their hearts and lungs were about to explode, their expressions incomparably miserable. If this continued for a long time, the emperor clans wouldn't have any face to speak of. This would seriously affect their emperor clan's prestige. Su Yin, why do you have to be so overbearing? There were some Immortal Elder Academy members who couldn't control themselves, crying out miserably. You should understand that the Emperor clan's glorious seeds are all dormant in a mortal cave, not a single unmatched overlord who stepped into the Emperor Dao realm. However, you are acting so overbearing is a bit shameful. So I was the one who was overbearing. Su Yin sat cross-legged on the battlefield and spat out energy essence that filled the sky to nourish his body. He was trying his best to continue building up a powerful foundation and refining the chaotic human body medicine essence within his body. He said in a cold voice, Then let me ask you, I won 3 out of 3 battles in the Immortal Demon Great War and obtained a right to cultivate in the Immortal King Fortune Land. Why was I replaced by a puny Tenrai of Beach? You, Elder Xian was at a loss for words, unable to retort. However, this sentence caused an incomparably terrifying storm in the Emperor's city. The experts from the various great sects all turned pale with fright. The Tenrai of Beach had once again replaced Su Yin and obtained the qualifications to enter the Immortal King's good fortune to cultivate. I also want to ask you, in the Immortal Elder Academy, Young Emperor and Thunder Immortal Elder, These two things that are worse than pigs and dogs teamed up to kill me. Su Yin roared. Which one of you will stand up and speak for me? Su Yin? Who has mentioned their sins? Shut up. Thunder Immortal Emperor screamed and wanted to slap Su Yin to death. Thunder Immortal Elder was already dead, thrown to his death by Su Yin. I also want to ask you, Spacetime Emperor has made great contributions to the immortal world. He dedicated his entire life to the immortal cave and cultivated countless experts for the immortal world. However, in his later years, he was plotted against by the young emperor and attracted the three ancestral gods of the dark world to kill him. Su Yan's eyes were bloodshot as he roared. Who's going to speak up for him? Even if you doubt my words, why don't you investigate and ask Xiao Di? Is it that hard? Can't you do it? The entire world resonated and a storm raged in the Emperor's city. It was terrifying, as if the end of the world had arrived. The entire world was in shock. Every sentence was too shocking. No one had expected such a ridiculous thing to happen in such a short period of time. They somewhat understood that all these things were caused by a puny young emperor. Immortal Emperor, where is the young emperor? Starry Sky Emperor said coldly, my clan Xingyun is dead. Spacetime Emperor is after all an expert of the immortal world. It's understandable that he would do something crazy in a moment of anger. Ask the young emperor to come out. Great Immortal Elder, as long as you withdraw and kill Su Yin, we can erase the memories of all the experts in the Emperor's city. Everything can be salvaged. You still don't understand him. Immortal Emperor said coldly, what's done is done. There's no turning back. I will punish the young emperor, but not now. I can't admit to this. Then we'll just have to watch Su Yin stand on the monarch battleground and curse at us. Starry Sky Emperor's face was cold. If it wasn't for the young emperor, things wouldn't have come to this. Su Yan's strength was acknowledged by Starry Sky Emperor and the great Immortal Elder and Su Yan's deep friendship. He would definitely be a sharp sword for the immortal world in the future. Back then, Spacetime Emperor had valued Su Yan's potential. He had groomed and guided him, helping him grow. He wanted Su Yan to stand on the same side as the immortal world in the future. But there was no turning back. He won't live for long. Immortal Emperor sighed. I've already asked Immortal Monarch and the others to break through. They will stand on the battleground and kill Su Yin together. Now that things have come to this, we can only end things quickly. There was no turning back. The imperial clans would not bow their heads. The atmosphere in the huge Emperor city was extremely tense. All the emperors suddenly retracted their auras, but the entire imperial city was on the verge of exploding. The atmosphere inside was rather heavy. The experts of the various sects were silent. Some sighed, some sneered, and some were angry. Are the imperial clans of the immortal world just going to let them do as they please? Some did not understand. You still don't understand what the three imperial clans are. Do you really think that the imperial clans don't come out to give face to the Xian people? Someone sneered. When the real three imperial clans come out, you'll know how deep the waters of the immortal world are. Now that things had developed to this level, very few people dare to talk about it. Only on the Emperor battleground, Su Yin stood between heaven and earth like the ancestor of gods. The sound of scriptures came out of his body, one syllable after another. It was incomparably profound and revealed the mysteries of the universe. Suddenly, the world realized that Su Yan's body was terrifying. It was unimaginably deep and majestic. It was as if he was looking down on the 9 heavens and 10 earths. How profound was this cultivation? During the trip to the incomplete 3-world mountain, Su Yin had obtained the complete heaven and earth scripture and comprehended the mysteries of the universe. He had further perfected his own scripture. Now, the universe scripture had reached a certain scale and had laid a complete foundation. As Su Yin breathed, the heavens and earth roared. The stars and moonlight that filled the sky sprinkled down and flowed into Su Yan's body, nourishing his body. As he cultivated further, the chanting sound that was emitted from his body became more and more vast. Bastard! Almost a day had passed. Xian Weihuan was about to go crazy. In this killing situation, The imperial clans wanted to kill Su Yin. Su Yin had a peerless demeanor. He was even cultivating, comprehending the Tao, and chanting scriptures on the emperor battleground. This was a humiliation to the imperial clans. Many people were going crazy. Was there really no one who could stop Su Yin? The second time the emperor battleground opened, one day and one night had passed. Still, no one went up. The experts of the various imperial clans felt embarrassed. They wanted to ask the imperial clans what they should do. Finally, at noon on the second day, boom! In the distance, a figure rushed out rapidly. His aura was incomparably terrifying. In an instant, he rushed towards the imperial city, emitting a monstrous imperial aura. Su Yin, King Tianwu roared. His figure was blazing. His dharma and martial Tao were divine. He was like a young, immortal martial emperor awakening. He rushed towards the emperor battleground and shouted angrily, "I'm coming!" The imperial city was in an uproar. It was King Tianwu, who Su Yin had suppressed in the past. He had almost died on the stage. The current King Tianwu was already standing in the emperor realm. He was a peak talent of the immortal cave. Although he had lost to the imperial clan's war god back then, there was no doubt that King Tianwu was terrifying. Heaven and earth rumbled. King Tianwu's essence, energy, and spirit became more and more tyrannical. A huge figure appeared behind him, roaring into the heavens. The young imperial clans were awakening, their might shocking the world. A storm swept through the imperial city. The imperial clans had truly sent out powerful experts. However, King Tianwu alone wasn't qualified. The emperor battleground remained calm. Su Yan's eyes were slightly closed. As his chest rose and fell, the energy essence of the vast universe flowed into Su Yan's body. All the pores on his body spat out the light of the universe, vaguely releasing a taboo heavenly might. His entire energy form was starting to appear in the domain of evolution. Su Yin couldn't suppress his urge to break through. The taboo domain was infinitely close to him. Bastard, he's too arrogant. The radical Xian people roared. Su Yin didn't make any response. He didn't even open his eyes to look at King Tianwu. What made everyone sigh was that King Tianwu didn't even get on the stage. He stayed below the emperor battleground and only looked at Su Yin with a cold gaze. This kind of humiliation. The various imperial clans have been intimidated by Su Yin for so long, but no one dared to get on the stage. The atmosphere in the imperial city became even more oppressive. Many people sighed. This was truly an invincible and glorious legend. He was invincible in the emperor realm. Su Yin could even step into the taboo domain at any time. Boom! When night fell, an extremely terrifying aura appeared. It was as if the condensed great Tao of reincarnation was spreading out. The radiance of life and death filled the sky. It was so terrifying that it was as if a sleeping demon lord was awakening. The sky darkened. An extremely terrifying figure rushed towards the imperial city. King Heavenly Eye. Everyone was terrified. This was the most outstanding person of the reincarnation imperial clan, one of the pillars of the immortal cave. He broke through the barrier of the realm and stepped into the emperor realm. He wanted to get on the battlefield. Look, the leader of the Xian people's younger generation had arrived. The immortal lord was dressed in snow-white robes. He was peerless in his generation. He walked towards the imperial city step by step. The sky was filled with divine and holy radiance. His aura was different from the King Heavenly Eye. However, he had a faintly discernible pressure that made one's primordial spirit tremble. He was like an invincible, extraordinary person standing on the emperor battleground. He stared at Su Yin and sighed slightly. Boom! Another man in a lightning robe appeared. It was as if he had crossed the ancient world and stood in the origin of lightning. He spat out black lightning one after another. The scene was quite terrifying. It was as if he was going to strike down the stars in the sky. Who is this person? What a terrifying aura! Everyone was shocked. The silver-robed man stood at the peak of the sky. His body was as deep as the lightning abyss. It was unfathomable. Lightning abyss bell, someone said in shock. This is the successor of the Thunder Immortal Emperor. He was once an invincible seed. King Tianwu, Immortal Lord, King Heavenly Eye, and Lightning Abyss Bell. The four peak experts of the younger generation had arrived. However, what shocked everyone in the world was that one peak hero after another appeared. Their names were all quite ancient, and they were all outstanding geniuses hidden in the Immortal's cave. Are you all crazy? Old Dragon roared angrily. The old Azure Dragon screamed in anger. Below the Monarch battleground, 10 peerless geniuses were gathered. The auras of the 10 peerless geniuses faintly merged into one, filled with an invincible aura that could sweep through everything. East Demon screamed. He was not angry that the Immortal Lord and the others had appeared. Why did they have to appear? It was because Su Yin had obtained great fortune. The great war of immortals and demons would not start within 1,000,000 years. East Demon, I can't take it anymore. Fan Jian roared. I'm crazy. They're too much. I want to go to the dark world. I want to tell them. I want to let them know that the great war of immortals and demons can start again. I want to see how the emperors deal with it. Fan Jian had the determination to die. He wanted to go to the dark world, collecting the titles of some emperors. This morning, an update was posted on the public account. Everyone can follow Clear Sky's public account and search for Clear Sky Leaf.